Hey y'all, so today we are doing my very first story time. I am so excited, but I'm also nervous, y'all. I really am. I really am not the type of girl that like to put my business out there, but I'm getting to the point in my life where if I feel like you go through things for a reason, and the things you go through it can either make you or break you. And a lot of times it make you into a better person because you learn from your mistakes. So I feel like if my story can help anybody out there, any woman out there that's going through the same thing or been through the same thing, like, then I'm doing something right. So I'm here and I'm about to drop all this dang tea, y'all. And this spicy it is. I'm about to drop all this tea. I'm even going to be dropping tea that doesn't always show me in the best lighting, but it is what it is. Like, I'm not ashamed of anything that I've been through or regretful, because again, like, I wouldn't be the woman I am in front of y'all right now if I hadn't been through those things. So if it can help any lady out there, then I know I'm doing something right. It is what it is. And yeah, I really do want y'all to take in consideration though that, yeah, I was very young. Like, I was young and naive um throughout this whole story. I was very young and a whole lot of naive. So I really want y'all to take that into consideration as well. So no judgment, judgment free zone, okay? And if you do judge, I really don't give a fuck. This story time is going to be about how I got away from a narcissist. So let me tell y'all how this all started. Back in high school, I used to do a lot of party hosting and throwing parties and stuff like that. This is a party that I'm hosting my event, and I ended up getting the DJ to get a group to come perform. So while the group is setting up their equipment and stuff, I'm going ahead to the kitchen so I can prepare for the customers who are gonna be coming. One of the guys from the group ended up coming into the kitchen and started making small talk with me. And if I'm gonna be honest with y'all, at first it felt very harmless. It felt harmless, but I could tell he was interested. And if I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I was interested in him as well. After he left and, doing what he needed to do, he ended up leaving. And I ended up confiding in another host that was hosting the event as well. I ended up confiding in her, like, hey, I think he interested in me and I'm interested in him as well. Like, just, girl talk. Y'all, little did I know at this time, this girl was interested in him as well. By the end of that night, y'all, he did ask me for my number and I gave it to him, and we proceeded to start communicating with each other. So it was no more than like a week or two that we were talking. And one day he just hits me up that someone contacted him, the other host contacted him and just was letting him know that I was too young for him and stuff like that. I found out that he was 19 or 20 at the time. I can't remember exactly, but he was 19 or 20. And I realized that we had a 3-year difference. We had a 3-year age gap. So instead of continuing to talk to me, he said something actually I did not expect for him to say. He told me that he was going to wait until I got older. And I respected that. I really did. So after this, we did stop communicating, but every few years he would pop back up with just one question. Hey, how old are you now? So life kept moving, y'all. Like, I went ahead and graduated high school. I was in college and I just went ahead and moved on with my life. I really had no thought of him at all until my junior year. So he popped back up my junior year with the same question. Hey, how old are you now? And this time when he asked my age, I was finally old enough and we started communicating. In my naive mind, y'all, I really admired that he waited all those years. Like, it made me think that, he was serious and like he's a man of his word and he kept his word. I admired that.
Red flag number one. What are we talking about? I don't know. What do you think about that? Like, I mean, I think it's good that he waited, but it's still like I'm not waiting for no 16-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Like, what we talking about? Like, I'm
Yeah.
19, you 16, and I'm about to be waiting till you turn 19. Pink flag. I'm not gonna say it's a red flag, but it's definitely a pink flag.
I'm glad he didn't mess with her while she was younger. A lot of people don't really care about your age. I think what
Yuck.
really made him feel like, you know what, I don't want to mess with you is the fact that somebody else has
Caught him out on
said,
it. Yeah.
yeah, like they caught on. I'm pretty sure one of their first conversations they had was, how old are you? I'm pretty sure he knew 100%. And then, yeah, when somebody else caught on, it's like, hey, that's weird. But I do think it is kind of weird that every year or so he's like, well, how old are you? It's like, What were you doing while you were waiting?
Is this like is that like what people would consider like grooming?
In
Right?
a sense, because like
I don't know because
before
he
too much
disappeared.
time went away, he'd be like, "Oh, like how old are you?" So it like obviously she's gonna think about him and think, "Oh, like okay, when's the next time you're gonna hit me up?" But
Yeah.
that just seems I would think that's pretty weird because it's like, well, what were you doing that whole time? And when you were messing with whoever else, were you telling them that you were waiting on somebody? Like it's
Right.
like he
Remember,
just
she was
knows a
young. This
guaranteed
is more just
lineup.
on him. This ain't more on her. This is more just on him as a grown, as a older.
Adult, yeah.
Yeah, just like what we waiting for a six. No offense, what we waiting for a 16-year-old for? Like, come on now. In 3 years, you might be old enough, but you still ain't old enough. Can't go to the
Yeah, and
bar. Can't
that's
do nothing.
I feel like that's the thing about messing with people that's older. They try to make you feel like you're special, that
Mm.
you're one in a million. But in reality, you have to think, well, why do they want to be with me and not somebody their age? Unless, in my opinion, I feel like people do that because they don't meet the expectations of people around their age.
Especially when it comes to that like age group, that right there. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
minor and adult. It's like
Like out of all the people in this room, you decided to go for somebody
I
years
respect the
younger.
fact that they at least told her to wait, though. I respect that. I can respect that he at least like backed out of that because, like you said, most dudes are weird.
Mm-hmm.
They would not. They would just try to keep her on the back burner. But it seemed like to be, like I said, pink flag. But let's see. This along with Messy Family, so we're not gonna be talking as much. We're gonna probably interject every like 10 minutes or so.
So after a few months, y'all, we finally decided we wanted to meet each other in person. I remember being so nervous on the way over there. I had my friends on the phone with me for support, y'all. And when I got there, y'all, when I got there, the house was huge. It was a two-story house, uh, parking garage, expensive cars in the garage. Like I remember my young naive mindset. I'm like, okay, he's older. This man really, he got his stuff together. I liked it that okay, this is the first time, I'm talking to a guy and he got his stuff together. Like I liked it. So that night we ended up watching movies, eating, and just talking all night. Like he was very respectable. I remember leaving the next day and I just felt butterflies. Like I was like, okay, this maybe can be something. But what I didn't realize at the time, y'all, was the man that I thought I was getting to know was about to show me a whole completely different side of him. And it started off with something I did not recognize at the time. It was love bombing. If y'all would like a part two, go ahead and comment part two in the comments because y'all, this is really where them red flags started showing. Hey guys, so this is part two of how I got away from a narcissist. Let's go ahead and get into it. So after months of us talking and dating, everything just felt like a fairy tale. Like it just felt so unreal. I remember waking up mornings like with gifts at the end of the bed, and not just like any type of gift, like expensive gifts, and just like clothes, jewelry, shoes, you name it, and also the expensive lunches, the expensive dinners. Like I just remember feeling like this is romantic. Like this is how a real man supposed to treat a woman. Like and he's showing me that. Like he's showing me that he cares about me and he wants to be with me. Looking back now, I realized that was the definition of love bombing. My feelings started to get involved fast. I remember just wanting to be around him all the time. Like I would finish my classes and I would go straight to his house. He had this red-nosed pit bull. I believe that was the breed of it. And her name was Roxy, and I fell in love with Roxy. I really loved her a lot. So by the time summer break came, we were talking for 8 months. And at this point, I recognized that I was in love with him. And I felt like 8 months was enough time for me to know how I felt about him. And I felt like he should have known how he felt about me at that time as well. So I felt like I was ready to tell him that I loved him. At this time, it is May, it's summer break, it's my birthday. And I decided to throw a party on the beach. And I invited him, but he said he couldn't come for some reason. So I can't recall the reason, but he gave an excuse that I took as okay, like he can't come. But I still knew that I wanted to tell him how I felt about him. So later that night on my birthday, I called him and I told him, I said, I love you. And the phone went silent. He didn't say anything. He didn't say it back. Instead, he asked me one question. He asked, how can you love me and you don't support my music? If I'm gonna be 100% honest with y'all, I wasn't really supporting his music. I wouldn't say I was against it, but it wasn't like I was blasting it in the car. It wasn't like I knew the lyrics. Like, if I'm being, yeah, the music wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't like it was about to hit no records or nothing like that. Like, it wasn't like it was about to break no charts. so, so I knew I loved him, but I really felt like, okay, I wasn't tearing him down or deterring him from his dream or anything. But I also was like, that shit is not going nowhere. So after getting off the phone with him, I do remember just feeling like my heart being ripped out of my chest because I felt like I was very vulnerable in that moment. Like I told him how I felt about him, and I just took it as that he didn't feel the same way about me. And I just remember going back to my hotel room. Mind y'all, this is my birthday, so everyone is in the living room having a good time, drinking, partying. And I just remember going to the room and getting under the covers. And I just started crying my eyes out. Like I just was bawling, but I was trying to stay silent because I didn't want no one to hear me crying. But I couldn't hold my tears in. I just had to let it out. Eventually, my sister ended up walking into the room and she ended up pulling the covers back. And she saw that I had been crying. She didn't really have to ask me why or anything. Like she just automatically felt like it was him. So she was furious and she just went to like, where's my phone? Like she's about to call him and give him a piece of her mind. So I just get up begging her like, please don't call him. Please don't call him. I just didn't want to make the situation worse than what it was. So I just trying to like get myself together and go back around there to entertain my friends. And the following days after this, I convinced myself that maybe he just needed proof. So I made it my mission to listen to every song that he ever made, and I would know it for every lyric, every word. I would know it. And if this is his stipulation of me proving my love to him, then I was going to do it. So that summer, I ended up staying with my sister on the beach, and I ended up getting a job at Hooters. I saved all my money from Hooters that I made that summer, and I made a decision that I wanted to move to Columbia. It had a lot to do with the fact of, wanting to live out on my own and, just wanting a fresh start and a new place. And also, I would be lying if I didn't say that it had something to do with him as well, wanting to be closer to him. I moved to Columbia. He was living in Lexington at the time. And I just remember feeling like, okay, our relationship is only going to get stronger from here. Like, there's no distance. We're going to get closer and it's just going to get stronger. So I do want to notate, he did not tell me that he loved me back for my birthday, but he did end up gifting me a heart-shaped necklace. And I really love that necklace. Like, I would never take it off. During that time, during those few years, I would not take that necklace off just because he gave it to me. When he did give me the necklace, he did tell me that it was real gold. And I really didn't ask for all that. I really didn't care if it could have been fake, and I still would have wear it because it came from him. Because I loved him and it came from him. I didn't care about it being real or fake. But he really, looking back at it now, he really wanted me to believe that the necklace was real. Like he was always saying it, always bringing it up. So he also wore a lot of real jewelry, and he had this gold tester in his home that he would test his jewelry to make sure it was real. So one night he was going out to get us food, and something just told me, I don't know what clicked in my mind, like he just keep pressing the issue about this real jewelry. Like, let me just go check. So I ended up getting the gold tester, and it wasn't real. It was fake. And I didn't say anything about it because, again, like I didn't care. And if this was, stroking his ego for me to believe that it was real, I was just gonna stay quiet and like it's real. I was fine with that. I want to say like a few months go by, and he just started being at my house a lot. Like we didn't visit his house much anymore, and we were always at my house all the time, which I honestly did not mind because I liked having him around. Things started to feel a little off. Like I remember asking him, about his dog and about his house. Like, hey, you want to go to your house tonight? I can come over and see you tonight at your place. Like, and he would always change the conversation. Like I never really got a straight answer. Then one day he sat me down and he was like, you want to know what happened to Roxy? And I'm like, yeah, like, at this point I haven't heard nothing about the dog and it's been months. And I really grew a bond with that dog. Just told me that one day he came home and the locks on his house was changed and Roxy was locked inside and everything that he owned was locked inside and he didn't have anything from that home. So I ended up forgiving him for the lies. I just chopped it up in my head to the fact that maybe he was ashamed. Like he was ashamed to tell me the truth. So I didn't want to make him feel embarrassed or anything. I just wanted him to know, like, at this point, we were dealing with each other for well over a year now, and my feelings are true. Like, my feelings are valid, and I truly love this man. So I wanted him to know that I have his back, move in with me and, change your life around. Like, hey, I was trying to even convince him to go back to school and get his bachelor's degree. And I told him that I'm okay with helping you with that as well. Like, I want it better for him. So at this point, he has moved in. He's living with me for a few months now, and the red flags just started piling up. Like, I can recall times where my family and friends would come visit and he just would feel the need to rush and disappear from the home if any visitors came, and he wouldn't come back until the visitors left. And I just found that weird to me, but then I just chopped it up to, okay, maybe he's shy. Like maybe he's shy and he doesn't, feel comfortable around people that he doesn't know.
That is called ashamed. He is ashamed that he is much older than you and he is relying on
I was
you.
thinking that too. Yeah. Yeah, I would get the hell up out of there too. I ain't gonna lie to you.
And my thing is, like, the fact that he kept pressing the issue about the necklace being real, it's okay that it was fake, but, like, you're just gonna keep lying, saying it's real, like, that's probably why she went to go test it, because why are you continuously saying, oh, it's real? Is it so she's more appreciative of it, even though she's already wearing it every day? I don't know if he's trying to paint this picture of, oh, I live this luxury lifestyle to her, and I could afford all these nice things, but, eventually he told her that he was in a messed up situation, but it's like, if they're lying about things like that, then you can already picture they're lying about way more than you know.
But I just felt like he wasn't even giving them a chance to get to know him or trying to get a chance to even know them as well. I really felt off by that. The next red flag that I saw was one night my sister's car broke down in the parking lot. And I kid you guys not that Y'all know how the white lines in a parking space are? My sister's the front part of her car was literally at the end of the parking lines. So it just needed to be pushed back into the parking space. It wasn't that far of a push. So my sister ended up coming inside and asking him for his help. Like, hey, can you help push my car into this parking space? And he ignored her. And I guess she felt the vibe a little and she ended up just going back outside and seeing, trying to figure it out. And after she left out the room, I'm talking to him, like, go help her push the car into the parking space. And he's telling me that he doesn't have to help her. He shouldn't have to do that. He's not her boyfriend. He's my boyfriend. It would be different if it was me out there, then he wouldn't mind doing it, but he wasn't going to do it for her. So this created an argument between us. And he ended up, I guess, calling his mom for backup, like to confirm, like, hey, mom, like, I shouldn't have to do this, right? And wanting his mom to convince me that he shouldn't have to help my sister push her car into the parking space. Mom did get on the phone with us in the middle of our argument, and she did, piggybacked off him and said he don't have to help her. Like, you're his girlfriend, your sister not his girlfriend. Your sister got her own man. He don't got to help her.
As a homeless man in somebody's house, I think you should just do it because I get it what he's saying. Like that's not my woman. I'm supposed to do it. But if I'm homeless and I can't help pay my bills and I need your support, I'm gonna try to help wherever I can. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's taking out the trash, washing some dishes, cleaning up. I'm gonna try to do my part. Some people just be so damn entitled that they just feel like you owe them something. That is a part of like this whole point of him dating you at this point. It's like, yeah, I need a place to stay, and that's it. He's not even trying to make it comfortable for you. Just like this is your job at this point. That's why you gotta be careful who you choose to love, man, because some people will take your kindness for a weakness, or they might think that it's a weakness and then exploit it. So oh damn, I'm saying shit that's all crazy, but you know what I mean. They just going to pretty much take advantage of you.
At this moment, I chop it up to, like, I don't play about my sister, and I just felt like that was dumb. Him and his mom, what they were saying were dumb, and I wasn't going to sit there and try to pretend like they were right, because I really truly in my gut, in my heart, in my soul felt like they were dead wrong. I just feel like it's common courtesy as a human being, as a man, if a woman needs help pushing her car into a parking space, like, just help her. She's a woman. And like strangers, I had plenty of times, like me at a gas station, needing help with a tire, scared, and I'm out there trying my hardest to put a whole tire on the car, and a stranger would help me. A stranger man would come and help me. Like, it's just like, that was weird to me, and I wasn't going to be okay with that. I wasn't going to pretend like that was okay. So I ended up telling him, either you going to push that car into that parking space or you going to have to get out of here. And I said that, and I went outside and I helped my sister push that car. I got behind the end of that car and I started pushing. And then next thing you know, he ended up coming outside to help push because he didn't want to get kicked out. So at this point, it didn't sit right with me, and I wanted to know more. Like, I felt like, okay, this is not the man that I know. Like, I really don't probably know him. So I started paying attention more. So I started to pay more attention, y'all, because at this point I'm questioning his character and I'm feeling like maybe I don't really know this man how I think. Every time he unlocked his phone, I watched his fingers, and he used to type his password in so fast, y'all. But I used to be able to catch at least one number. So I started putting them in my notes one by one each time I caught a new number. And eventually I had the whole password. One night I waited until he fell asleep, and I ended up grabbing his phone and I went to the bottom of the bed and I sat on the floor. And I just remember feeling like my stomach was in knots. Like, I felt like I had to use the bathroom. Like, my hands were shaking. Like, I remember feeling sick because I was scared to see what I was about to see. And when I opened that phone, y'all, if y'all would like to see more of this story, comment part 3 in the comments, because that is when shit gets crazy. Hey y'all, so before we get into part 3, I do want to mention something that I forgot to mention earlier. When I first went to visit him, I did ask him what he did for a living because I wanted to know how he was able to afford his lifestyle. So he told me that he was in partnership with his uncle, who owned multiple automobile businesses in different locations, and he also got paid to perform his songs like at clubs and different type of functions. So later on, I did confirm that his uncle did own multiple automobile businesses, but once I started listening to his songs, I wasn't so sure that, those songs was paying for the lifestyle. At the time, I didn't know exactly where the money was coming from. So after meeting his uncle, like, it kind of just made me be like, okay, well, he's telling the truth, and just like accepted what he was saying. Now let's go ahead and get into part 3 of how I got away from a narcissist. So I'm sitting on the floor at the end of the bed, and y'all, my nerves are wrecked. I'm shaking and everything, and the phone unlocks. So at this point, first thing I did went to his messages, and in the messages, it just had a bunch of numbers. Like, it had no contact names. So I just clicked one of the numbers. Y'all, we just gonna call the woman Paula. And it was like a good night message, but it had the word bae in it. So it made me want to read more into, who the hell is this? So I started scrolling up, but I'm reading from the bottom up. And that's when, like, literally, I just felt my heart, like, like I can't even explain it, but it just was so like my heart tightening because I realized that Paula wasn't just some new girl. Paula was someone that he knew for years. At this point, I felt like my emotions taking over my body, and my body just went into shock. And I couldn't consume more of what I was seeing in the phone. So I didn't look at nothing else. I locked the phone and I just sat there and I'm shaking. My nerves so bad. I kept running to the bathroom. Like I just was messed up at it. So at this point, I'm in the bathroom, but I can see him sleeping so peacefully in the bed. And I'm just looking at him like, this motherfucker. Because I knew what I saw was only the beginning. Like I didn't read nothing else. I didn't went through the whole phone. So I know it was more, had to be more. And at this point, I just couldn't take knowing anymore. So I just locked the phone back. I put it back beside him. And at this point, I'm just staring at him and I'm just like trying to figure out what my next move gonna be. So I'm thinking to myself, like, do I confront him or should I just act like I don't know anything? So eventually I said, forget it. And I woke him up. And I just asked him one question. Who is Paula? Immediately he was looking shocked. And then he tried to flip the script and got upset with me, like, why was I going through his phone? But I didn't allow him to do that. I immediately redirected the conversation. No, who is Paula? Now his whole attitude is changing. He see I'm not going and he wants to explain himself. So I did not tell him everything that I knew, but I could tell he was fishing, trying to see what all I have seen. So at this point, he is telling me that she is just a friend, nothing more. And he tells me that he can prove it. He can call her. So I called his bluff. Call her. So he calls her, but I honestly think that he was banking on the fact that this was way like early in the morning. So I think he was banking on the fact that she wouldn't answer. Maybe she'll be asleep. But Paula did answer. So as soon as she answers the phone and she's like, hello, he hangs up the phone real fast. So I told him, call her back. He calls her back. This time he got the phone to his ear, so I couldn't hear what she was saying. At this point, I just started talking loud enough for her to hear me. So he ends up hanging up again. But at this point, I didn't ask him to call her back again because I didn't need no more proof. Like from the messages, the call, his body language, I already could conclude what was going on. I ended up telling him I'm done with him. He needs to leave. I just remember feeling so hurt, y'all, because even though I had a feeling, an intuition that something might be in the phone, it hits different when it's like you're confirmed on your feelings, like you're confirmed on your thoughts. It hits a lot of different because if you stick in the space of okay, I think, but you're not for sure, you're not certain, it's like that's like a safe space. Like you don't have to, really deal with the reality of the situation. But when it's confirmed to you, it hits a lot differently. So a few days later, he did reached out and he wanted to take me out to dinner for us to talk about the situation. And yes, y'all, I did say yes. But again, we listen and we don't judge, okay? I was younger. I was very, very naive at this point. So he picks me up in his Benz. We go to dinner. And y'all, I'm barely even touching my food. I think I only probably had one bite of my food. And I just asked him again, like, who is Paula? So this time he did give me a little bit more information on Paula. He tells me that Paula is an older woman around his mom age. She's friends with his mom. And she's someone that he can call on if he needed anything. So that's all really he would tell me about Paula. And now we're on the way home. So the whole ride home, I'm just like in my head and my thoughts, and I'm just like, who the hell is this man? Like who is this man sitting next to me? But I just was telling him like I just can't trust you. Like you done lied so much. I done caught you in so much lies, and then now this whole Paula situation. And then I don't know what made me do this, y'all. But something just told me open the glove box. At this point, y'all, I'm digging in the glove box. I'm pulling out papers. I'm looking over documents. Tell me why Paula's name is on legal documents that she is the legal owner of this Benz that I'm sitting in right now. So y'all, I just look at him. I'm like, you really got me sitting in this woman's car? Then he says, I'm gonna just tell you everything. And what he said next, y'all, made me realize that I had no idea who this man was that I had been with for the past year. Y'all are interested in more of this story, then I would like for y'all to comment part 4 in the comments because what he eventually admits about Paula is a whole nother level of crazy. Hey y'all, so this is part 4, how I got away from a narcissist. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay y'all, so after going through the glove box and realizing that this is actually Paula's car, I turned to him and I said, I know you ain't got me in this woman's car. And he told me that he could explain. So I did let him explain. So basically what I got from his explanation was Paula was like this older woman who got her kicks from messing with younger men. And she didn't mind putting a car in her name for him. All he had to do was like entertain her from time to time and just, text her now and then and stuff like that. That's what I got from his explanation. He did tell me that although the car is in Paula's name, he was the one paying the payment. He then went on to say that since Paula heard my voice, she wanted the car back. And I just remember thinking, like, would she really take the car back from you if you're the one who's paying the payments, paying the insurance? Like, I really had a question about that in my head. I feel like more so if you taking the car back from a person, then you must be making those payments. Then he tried to switch it up and play victim and say that I'm giving up my Benz for you. So I just asked him straight up, how are you living with me, want to be in a relationship with me, and have a sugar mama on the side? It don't work like that. And then he gonna say, you ain't putting no car in your name for me. Y'all, when he said that, I'm just like, absolutely the fuck not. You better go back to Paula. I just feel like my mama raised me better than that. Like, I'm not putting a car in my name for no man. Like, I'm just not doing it. I told him, if you want to keep your car, you better go back to Paula. So he did end up leaving. He told me he had to go drop the Benz off to Paula. But after this day, y'all, I never saw the Benz again. So after he left, later on that night, his mom ended up calling me. Y'all, after the situation that happened with my sister in her car, I wasn't really messing with his mom like that. I really felt some type of way about that, but he kept trying to push for us to have a better relationship. So she started calling me more often, started texting me more often. So we ended up having a better relationship. So I didn't want to go into details about Paula to her because, again, y'all, back then, I don't know why, I just found myself still trying to protect his image. So I didn't want to go into details about Paula with her because I didn't know if she knew or not what was going on in that situation, and I didn't want to be the one to tell her. Looking back now on the situation, I do feel like she probably did know about Paula and she probably just didn't even care. At this point, I'm on the phone with his mom and I'm just venting, y'all. I was really hurt because at this point, it's a year into the relationship. And it took a year for me to find out all this stuff. Like, at this point, my feelings involved, and then it's just like, I felt like a fool. Like, I felt like I was blind to everything. So it hurt bad. It really did hurt bad because I felt like I was manipulated. I'm venting to her. I'm telling her, your son just ain't right. He's not right. He's doing stuff he ain't got no business, and he's hurting me. Now, when we were on the phone, y'all, she did make me feel like she understood where I was coming from. She made me feel like she had the mindset of a grown woman's perspective. You know, those type of moms that, their son can't do no wrong and they always want to defend him. She wasn't like that on the phone with me. She made me feel like she was holding him accountable. Somehow, by the end of this conversation, she did end up persuading me to talk it out with him and try to give him another chance.
Triangulation. You falling for it. Don't ever listen. I'm not saying that the parents ain't always the best first option. Sometimes you get some good parents that really be holding their kids accountable. But don't let that be your first option. Honestly, if you can't deal with stuff directly with the person you with, then that's a problem in itself. If you have to go get somebody else just to convince the person you dealing with, the man you dealing with to do something, or the woman you dealing with to do something, that's already a red flag in itself. I feel like the reason why she didn't know all this about him, though, you typically don't know the people you're dating. You could be dating somebody for years, like especially in the beginning when you're young, high school. Y'all don't live together. So it's a lot of stuff I can pretend to be like just for that moment when I'm with you, then go home and be myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying in general, that's how people are. So, but when you get to living with people, you start to see shit. You start to notice things about it. You start to realize that, oh, this person's a liar. We didn't even know these things. Like, you shouldn't even know he was capable of cheating based off of what he was doing for her and the stuff that she would have never assumed it until she moved in. That's when you really get to know the person you with, when they move in or when y'all have a baby together. But I'd rather try to move an in thing first before I test the baby thing out first, because I'm telling you.
Yeah, I think the mama just didn't want her son calling her for anything financial. He already got a woman that's going to put a car in her name, a woman that's going to let him lay down in her bed and live there. This mama just not trying to get no calls about anything that has to do with money at all. That's why she's trying to. All them girls that he probably has called his mama, she's telling them all the same thing. Like, give him another chance. That's my son. He knows better. Don't trust it. And also, if you are dating somebody and you find something in their phone, never let them try to flip the script. If you're laying together, there is no form of privacy. If I already invited you in my home, I can go through your phone. F that you invaded my privacy. You are a cheater. Let's focus on the real problem here. Like, what?
I mean, I think if you got to go through somebody's phone, it's about time. It's about that time to. I know I be telling y'all to check out of these relationships a lot, but I feel like that's a good reason. I mean, if you're going through somebody's phone, then you clearly don't trust this person. So what's the point? And then you got to call his mama just to get reinsurance. It's like, no, his mama gonna do what mamas do. You can't even be mad at mom at this point. She just see the best. They refuse to see the worst in their kids. So I get it. It's nothing he can do wrong. You're just tripping. But I wouldn't call her. I would rather seek counseling before I go to the parents.
I honestly feel like the only reason, like thinking back at my naive mindset, like how I was back then with him, I feel like the only reason why I was okay with doing that is because I was still stuck on how it was in the beginning. I was thinking, okay, maybe how he was acting in the beginning, how he was treating me in the beginning will come back one day. Listen, y'all, this is where it gets crazy. So shortly after all of this happened, y'all, I did ended up forgiving him and he did move back in. So not too long after that, one day I came home from school and I walked into the room and he was asleep on the bed, but his phone was open to a reel from Facebook. So I guess he fell asleep while watching the reel and his phone didn't lock. It stayed open. So I felt like God was on my side because I didn't have to try too hard. I didn't have to do nothing. Like it was just sitting right there on a silver platter, just waiting for me. After the whole situation with Paula, y'all, the trust was gone. There was no trust in that relationship, y'all. I didn't trust nothing about this man, and of course, the phone unlocked. I feel like this is a sign. This time, I went to Instagram first. So I went to Instagram and I'm looking at his DM, and when I tell y'all the amount of women in his DM, I could not check all those messages. I couldn't. So I just checked the first couple ones. So I opened them up and y'all, I'm just reading the conversation and it wasn't like relationship conversations. It was more of him asking women for nudes and they was just sending them. It was just sending them just like that. So y'all, it was so much nudes on the Instagram. It was so much nudes in the Instagram DM that I felt like that man literally could have owned a porn site. Like he could have owned a porn site and sell that shit. Yeah, I just remember thinking like, where are these women from? Like I don't know no woman that I know just out here, a man just jumping her DM, asks her for some news, and she just dropping her drawers in the news. Like that was something new to me. Like I'm just like, what kind of women are these? Like where are these women from? So I can stay away from that town. Hi, I know that town. Hi, I know it is. So I didn't really felt too much type of way about that. I just felt like them was some scum buckets, and I just wasn't paying much attention to that. I do feel like he was even weirder for even just out here just jumping in women DMs and asking for stuff like that. I thought that was weird, but also I'm just like, so now I'm going to his messages again, and I just ended up typing my name in the search bar because I just wanted to see if he was saying anything about me in that phone. And I just so happened to see a message that was from his mom that had my name in it. Now, y'all, I was not trying to go through that man phone looking through him and his mama messages. I was not looking for that. But it just so happened, like, come on, if you type your name in the search bar and you see your name in a sentence, you gonna want to know what they're saying about you. So I just so happened to want to see what she's talking about. So I opened it, and what I saw, y'all, literally made my heart drop. But when I told y'all she called me that night and we were on the phone all that night, the conversation went, he texted his mom and he was asking her what she said to me on the phone. Her response was, I told Kat, you can have as many women as you want, as long as you can afford them. Y'all, that lady never said that to me. She never said that to me. And if she did say it, she must be said it while a phone on mute or something under her breath because I ain't heard that. I didn't hear none of that. Now everything started making sense. And that was the moment that I realized I wasn't just dealing with him, but I was dealing with a whole system of lies. After I saw that, y'all, I didn't went to her and try to clear nothing up. I ain't did none of that. I stopped answering phone calls. I stopped messaging back. Left on red. Looking back on everything, I honestly feel like she never liked me from the jump though. Because when I first started coming around, she would pick me apart. Like she always worried about what I got on my body. Oh, you need to cover up, and I'm grown. I'm grown. You don't tell me to cover. I'm a grown woman. Worry about your son and what he wearing. That's your child. I'm not your child for you to be telling me and worry about what I got on and stuff. Y'all, it could be the summertime and I can have a crop top on and shorts, and you got something to say. Mind your business, okay? Mad because you can't do it like me, huh? Let's really think about this. You speak up to me about what I'm wearing, but you can't speak up to your son about him over here living with me and cheating on me with all these different women and shit. You worry about the wrong thing. You want me to be closed up and conservative. Your son not even conservative. Your son not even conservative. Like, the fuck? Anyways, y'all, looking back on it, I should have never forgave him the first time. Because that first time that I forgave him literally set the tone for everything else that was yet to come. Yeah, I would like to continue following this story. I want y'all to like comment part 5 in the comments because I'm telling y'all, shit is about to go down in part 5 and y'all gonna want to see it. Hey y'all, so this is part 5 of how I got away from my narcissist. Let's go ahead and get into it. So just replaying like this whole situation, especially from last night, talking about the chapter of what his mama said in that phone. Let's just go ahead and get into how I found out what he did for a living and where the money was coming from. So one day he did ask me to go to Atlanta with him, and I'm thinking he's just trying to make up to me all this shit going on. I'm thinking this is gonna be like a romantic date. We're probably gonna go get some food, do some shopping, vibe, nothing crazy. But when I got in the car, I noticed this big reusable grocery bag. Y'all know the ones that you can buy from the store, you don't gotta throw away? One of those, like it was sitting in the back seat. Now I'm already a little suspicious at this point, but I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is a surprise for me. Like, because that's something he would do. Like, he'll fuck up and then he'd just come, bringing gifts and stuff, bringing some prizes and stuff. So I'm thinking maybe this is a surprise for me. So we get to Atlanta, we stop at a gas station, and he gets out to pay for gas. Curiosity got the best of me. So I'm looking in the mirror and I'm trying to make sure he's not on the way back to the car. And I just end up, reaching over into the back seat, and it had like this gray plastic bag, the one that you could throw away from the grocery store, covering it. So I just end up pulling the gray cover just from over it. Y'all, tell me why this bag like was filled with like big rock looking crystals, looking like they were so big, and it was filled to the top. It was filled to the top. It was so much in the bag. So I could only describe it at that time as like some big rock crystal looking thingies. Like I didn't know what it was. I had never seen anything like that before. So I knew that it looked like some kind of drugs. It looked like something illegal, but I never seen anything like that before. Like the only thing that I had ever been around, any type of drug that I had ever been around in my life is marijuana. Nobody in my lifetime had ever exposed me to anything like that before. So when I saw that, my heart just dropped. Cause in that moment, I'm just thinking like, if the police stop this car, we both, ain't no question, we both going to jail. The amount of drugs that was in that bag, like they not wanting to, I know they wouldn't want to hear an explanation like you don't know, like it was that much. It was so much. Like they ain't going to hear nothing. Like they just know they got them a good case. I'm telling y'all.
I just want to be the first to say we ain't going together to do shit. You know what I'm saying? If we get caught, you going to jail. What are you talking about? You a civilian, man. People be so quick to be ride or dies, boy. Let me get it. I tell my people all the time, don't get me in no car that's hot now. If I get in this car, we get pulled over. I'm not going to jail. I did not sign up for this. Yeah, I gotta understand. Some people are really civilians. We ain't sign up for this. Goddamn, don't let the tough demeanor fool you. Shit, if I ain't going down for no shit that ain't mine. Some of y'all will. I feel you. I get you. All right, ride for your man.
The amount of drugs that was in that bag could have sent both of us away for a very long time. Like we in Atlanta at that. Y'all know they don't play like that in Atlanta. Y'all, my hands was shaking so bad. I covered the bag back up and I just immediately called my sister. I'm whispering to her on the phone, like I'm telling her what I just saw and I'm asking her what I should do. Now, mind y'all, at this time, I'm still a college student. I'm still in school and I'm working on a criminal justice degree. And if any of y'all are criminal justice majors, please listen to me carefully. That's not a degree where you can make a few mistakes and still have a clean career. One situation, one charge, one wrong decision, and that can follow you forever. I'm telling y'all, please be careful who you surround yourself with. So my sister's on the phone and she's telling me, do not confront him. Just wait till I get back home. She wants to make sure I get home safely. I hang up the phone and right then he gets back in the car. So he gets back in the car and we drive a little further down to another gas station slash liquor store. The next thing I know, this big, like he was big, this big linebacker looking Colombian or Mexican looking man gets in the car in the back seat right behind me. I knew this situation was bad, like really bad. Because now it's two black people, one foreign man in the back seat, out of town tags, and a huge bag full of drugs in the car. So the man in the back seat started asking him, "Who am I?" It's almost like he didn't know that he would have been bringing someone with him. He he was like caught off guard by that and was kind of suspicious. Was trying to see if I was an informant or something. Y'all, my nerves were so bad. It was so bad. I literally was just sitting like this. Like, I did not want to look back. I didn't want to look to the side. I'm sitting like this and looking directly like straight in front of me. All I could think to myself was like, you cannot care about me, because like people who care about you, they wouldn't put you in situations like this. Felt like he knew I was not built for that lifestyle. He knew I was a college student. He knew one wrong move and he could have ruined my whole life. That man really thought that I was an informant. He could have shot me in the back of my head. He could have killed me right there in that car. So eventually, the linebacker man gets out the car and he takes the bag of drugs with him. Y'all, after all of this, this man, this man gonna take me to Denny's? I'm just sitting there thinking, like, this man really just risked my life for some Denny's? I'm just sitting at the table, y'all. Like, I'm just biting my lips, trying so hard to bite my tongue because I'm still hearing my sister's voice in my head telling me, don't confront him. Wait till you get home safely. I was so upset, and he could have tell that I was upset. So he asked me what was wrong. But what happens next, y'all, gets even crazy. If y'all would like to continue following the story, then I would like for y'all to like, repost, comment part 6 in them comments. Comment y'all questions in them comments. And I will try my best to answer them in part 6 because I'm telling y'all, shit's getting crazier. Hey y'all, this is part 6. How I got away from narcissist. Let's go ahead and get into it. So when he asked me what was wrong, I just couldn't hold it in. Like, there was no way I was going to ride back with him for hours and hold that in and not say nothing about what I just seen. So I just told him straight up, like, I don't know what kind of girls you're used to dealing with, but I cannot be involved in stuff like that. I told him, you cannot just be asking me to ride with you somewhere and not inform me that there's drugs in the car. That's not cool with me. So at first he just sat there looking surprised, almost like he couldn't believe I had a problem with it. Looking back at it, I feel like he was acting more of, should just be happy to be in his presence and I shouldn't be like speaking up about it. But eventually he acted like he understood and he said it would never happen again. But y'all, on the ride home, my mind was just racing and I'm just like replaying everything that has happened since I first met him. I'm just asking myself, like, how could I have not seen this? But the truth is, y'all, the signs was always there. The vague story about Roxy in his house, him not wanting to push my sister's car, his mom encouraging him not to push my sister's car, his mom's statements in the phone, the Paula situation, and now this whole drug situation. The signs was always there.
Now it's starting to make sense to me why he's messing with women to like put the cars in their name, the house in their name, because when you're selling drugs, they're going to ask you, where are you getting your money from? And if you can't prove it, you're getting denied. So they
Right.
have to literally do stuff like this when it comes to banking, when it comes to cars, when it comes to housing, anything where you have to prove how you get your money. If you're getting it illegally, you have to find someone else every time.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of crazy to be dating somebody who's in the criminal field too, being a criminal. Like, how do
And then he thought there was gonna be like who was it, Ghost and somebody else, or who was that off that show?
Tasha and Ghost,
Yeah,
please?
like when he was dating the detective, his love of his life.
Oh, right. Tasha was getting in the way of Ghost's love. Yeah, I found out we talking about some movie called Power, but yeah, that was so funny. But that is crazy to me. It's just like, where's the common sense? Like, you got a person who's a criminal major in your car. That's why I say, y'all over here be super tough in the comments. Say, oh, you gotta be realer than that. Dudes be talking crazy, but it's like, ain't none of y'all gonna do that shit. First of all y'all watching these stories like me, I know y'all ain't gonna be. Like, stop the cap. Like, it be social media people who just be, oh, I ain't ratting on my man. Nigga, if I'm in the car and I'm in college and you ain't tell me you got this stuff, I'm telling as soon as they get to the door. As soon as they say, get out the car. As soon as they grab the bag, I'll wait. I'm a little patient. I'll wait till they grab the bag. And as soon as it's his.
To be fair, she didn't
Like,
even know anything about the drugs until
I
she
tried to hold
decided.
it. I tried to be solid. It didn't work.
He tried to keep it from her. She the one who went searching in the backseat. I
But
would have just played like I didn't know anyway. She wasn't supposed to know nothing.
shit, I wanted to play like I don't know. She's a criminal major. What did you expect? She's going to find out. She's curious. That's why she's going to school for
You
criminals.
know
She's
what they say
in
about
curious
curiosity?
minds.
It killed the cat.
That's a cat. That's a human. The hell? I'm just talking shit. I know what you're talking about.
I had to admit that the signs was always there. I just chose to ignore them and paint the red flags green. I did that. I had to take that. Looking back, I realized that I was just stuck on the love bombing. And I just was waiting. Like, I was waiting for that version of him to come back. But what I didn't realize back then, that version of him was never real. It was never real. It was all an act. And this chapter that we are about to get into now, y'all, it was the lowest, literally the lowest point of my life. When I look back at all of this stuff, it's like a out of body experience. Because I feel like the woman I am today would have left at the first red flag. I wouldn't allow this much. Sometimes I hate that I allowed so much. I just allowed so much and I swallowed so much disrespect. And I allowed myself to literally be a doormat for a man. Don't judge, y'all. Like, I already judged myself enough over the years. And that girl I was back then is not the woman sitting in front of y'all today. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. The first 3 to 4 months of him moving in, he wasn't paying no bills. At first, I didn't even ask him to pay no bills. Like when we first moved in, me and my sister, when we first moved in, I took the money I made from Hooters. I made so much money from Hooters that summer. I took that money and I paid up the rent for a few months. So we were good. It gave my sister enough time to find a job. So I had transferred from the Hooters on Myrtle Beach to the Hooters in Columbia. And y'all, when I tell y'all, locations matter. They matter. At the Hooters on Myrtle Beach, I was making real money. Like I was coming home every night between $100 and $400. The tourists there on Myrtle Beach were very generous. But the Hooters in Columbia, the people were nice, but they weren't as generous. I remember working in Columbia's Hooters, and I would come home with like $5 to $12 a day. $5 to $12. One morning shift, I had worked the morning shift at Hooters in Columbia, and I just came home with $5, y'all. $5. When I came home that day, I knew I wasn't going back. I knew I had to make something shake. Like I had to figure something out. So I ended up going back into my hustle of doing nails. So I was doing nails and going to school. So we're gonna pause right here, y'all, because we about to go back to the beginning because there was another red flag that I forgot to mention. So one night we was at his house laying in bed watching TV and he was smoking. He ended up trying to pass the blunt to me, but I told him no. And I said no, it wasn't no because I wasn't a smoker or anything like that. I never smoked before. It was just because we just had started talking and I just wanted to keep a clear mind around him. Yeah, I was an occasional smoker in college, but it wasn't constant. It wasn't every day and it wasn't all the time. And he told me something that should have been a warning right then. He said, if you're going to be around me, you're going to have to start smoking with me. So I did pretend to hit the blunt, but I didn't inhale it. I just was like, I just blew it right back out. I just wanted y'all to notate that. Now let's go ahead and get back into it. At this point, I am doing nails and I'm going to school, but I am dealing with everything that I have been dealing with him, and I started to smoke more than usual. If I'm being honest, y'all, I was using it to numb myself because I had already taken this man back after so much hurt. I did not want to deal with the reality of what I was living in. So I'm still going to school, I'm still doing nails, and my sister ends up getting a job. So we good, everything good. So one day, my mom ends up checking me because she didn't like the fact that there was a grown man living in the house and he wasn't contributing anything. And she was right. So I did start asking him to help with bills. And that's when he came up with this idea. So he told me if I would give him $500 every month, he would flip it to $1,200 by the time rent was due every month. The way he convinced me to do it was he made it seem like he was doing it for me. As in, yeah, so that way you won't have to work as hard. You can go to school and you don't have to work as hard. And I
So let me get this right. Okay, she was young, right? We get it. But this is first to me. So you said, nah, he's not gonna pay the rent. He said, matter of fact, how about you pay me to live here? And if, because it's always if, it ain't never always a guaranteed flip. If I can flip it, I'll pay the whole rent. So the downside is you might not get shit back, and I'll be up 500 or lost 500, whatever the case may be. But the upside may be I might be able to help your rent.
The way he can easily manipulate people to do things for him, that gotta be a sport. Cause what? No way. And applause to the mama for checking her on this. Cause when you're in a relationship, you don't really peep what's going on. But everybody on the outside, this is exactly why he didn't want to see the family when he went over there. Cause he already know, like, huh? You ain't
Yeah,
did what?
you
And you
the
living
homeless
where?
man. You the homeless man in the family.
Grown at that, way older than my daughter. Like what? No.
Yeah, her mom
And
did good.
and also I do peep like when you are dating somebody and one does, let's say one drinks, one doesn't, one smokes, one doesn't, it becomes a problem later on because then they start judging you. I want to say not in a bad way, but let's say you like overdoing it or doing it too much of their liking because they already don't do it as is. That's going to be a problem later on because all of the things that you're doing wrong, now they're going to tie to, oh, it's because you're drinking. Oh, it's because you're smoking. Even if that isn't the case, or sometimes it is, but it's like that is what they're going to point out every time. Or if you need money, they're going to be like, oh, well, if you wasn't spending it on that, then that would be a problem. So they want you to be a part of it with them. So it doesn't
Yeah.
seem like it's a big of an issue if it really is one.
Yeah, I don't get why people feel like you need to smoke and stuff with them. Like you just smoke and enjoy your time. Like you don't have to be indulgent with it. That's why it talks about the Bible how misery loves company, and that's exactly what I thought when he said that. I was like, yeah, misery definitely loves company. Because how you gonna sit here and tell me that I have to smoke with you every time to be with you? Like that's why some people don't date people who smoke or drink because they just not into those things, and they feel peer pressure to do so just to be a part of the vibe. But it's like people who smoke. They don't understand that
I
some
also
people
feel
don't.
yeah, I
They can
also feel
still be
like
in the
too
vibe.
though. If he's smoking all the time and she's not a smoker, and let's say he always going outside, that's gonna be a problem. If she is not joining in, it's gonna be like, why do you keep dipping out and leaving?
Yeah, smoking puts you in a different like loop of mindset. It's almost like you don't even care sometimes what's going on in the moment. But when you conscious, you paying attention to every detail. So it's like them trying to get you drunk. It's just like we trying to get you because I don't want to slip up and say some shit and you consciously heard me. You know what I'm saying? I want to feel like, oh, we both in the room. So her smoking and blowing it out, that's really wasting the smoke. But hey, that's another conversation.
You ever did that before?
But yeah, don't let somebody change your whole career path. You about to throw away everything for this man at this point.
I think because I had seen him make money before, I believed him. So I gave him the $500. But when rent came around, sometimes he would only give me 200, 300, or sometimes the same 500 back. So I ended up talking to my sister about the situation one day, and she told me to stop giving him my money. He's using me. He would say things like, I'll add the rest next month. This ended up making me have to work even harder to cover the difference. But I feel like I couldn't see it then because I'm still thinking, okay, rent coming up, maybe he gonna have all my money this month. Maybe he gonna have all of it this time. Like, I'm still giving him grace. My sister wasn't a smoker. Her mind was always clear. I honestly feel like that's why he didn't like her, because she could see him for the dirty dog that he truly was. I did decide to check his phone because I wanted to see where my money was. Rent was coming up and I needed my money. So I did have like a Ring doorbell camera. So one day he ended up typing in his new password in front of the camera. So I had the password. So I ended up waiting until he fell asleep, and I got the phone and I opened up Cash App. So the first thing I saw when I opened up the Cash App was he had sent a girl $100, and y'all know in the notes column, it said for nails. That's when it hit me that this man was taking my money, and sending it to a girl so she can get her nails done. Meanwhile, I'm over here working my hands off as a nail tech to keep a roof over our head. The pain of that hit so different because I felt like, this man, you gotta hate me. Like, you got to hate me. How could you see me struggle? Like, I'm struggling to do these girls' nails. Like, I'm going so hard at doing these girls' nails, and I'm going to school, and I'm trying to make up for the money that you're not giving me. Like, you taking my money. So I did ended up kicking him out after I saw the cash. And I did text the girl, and I let her know that was my money. I wasn't asking her for the money back or nothing, but I was just letting her know, like, that nigga ain't got it like that. He's sending you my money. Then, y'all, she ended up telling me something that made me really physically sick. He told me that they had just started talking. This was new, and that they were already sleeping together. Yeah, I could not eat. I could not move. Like, I just stayed in that same spot, just like sick to my stomach. The next morning, I ended up waking up to a phone call from her. I answered the phone. She didn't say hey or anything. All she said was, mute yourself. Y'all, what I heard next literally made me see red. Y'all like more of this story? Comment part 7 in the comments, like, repost, and yeah, it's about to go down. Hey y'all, so this is part 7, how I got away from a narcissist. Let's go ahead and get into it. So before we get into it, y'all, I do want to notate that throughout all of this, I still somehow managed to graduate college early, cum laude, all A's during this whole situation. So after realizing that he gave my money to the girl to get her nails done, I just remember feeling like, this can't be a real man. Like, a real man wouldn't take from me. A real man would have been passing out my business cards, knowing that I'm new to Colombia, I'm still building my clientele. So I do remember it running through my head that this man has a whole following of women from Colombia on social media. I'm new there. I don't really have anybody like that from Colombia on social media. I don't know these people. So I'm just thinking, like, why not promote my business? Why not pass out my business cards? Why not help me win? Because I felt like if he would have actually helped me build my table, then of course, knowing how I am as a woman, I had his back, then we both would have been eating together.
I'm thinking he probably just still irritated at the fact that you weren't supporting his music.
Or
You feel me?
he got a whole catalog of people that's just sending him nudes on IG. So why would he plaster a girlfriend on there?
Right. You think that he ever told everybody that they was dating on that social media?
No.
Let alone promoting her. But that's crazy though. I think it kind of goes both ways with that. You know what I'm saying? You ain't promote the music. He's like, I ain't promoting your nails. But I get what she's saying. If you got this large like clientele, you can definitely directly help me instead of like he could have just been helping you make money, and that could have been helping pay the bills. Like,
when it comes to a lustful man, it don't matter what you bring into the table.
He just surviving. I don't think it's more about helping and building and being a team. She on some team stuff like we are, but Him, it's more just surviving. You got to make sure you're not with somebody who just out here surviving, because they don't probably even like you. They living double lives. They just surviving. There's nothing wrong with this girl. That's so crazy. Somebody look in the mirror, they something like, there's no way you cheat on me, But they do. They just surviving. They taking advantage of your kindness, your heart. You the only one in the lineup that'll let me stay in this house. If you wasn't, then I wouldn't even be taking. They wouldn't even be taking you serious. They'd be bouncing around. Not saying you deserve that. It's just when you are a giver and you like to see people win and you like to fix things. That's the biggest red flag. Is when you like to in yourself. Is when you see a problem and you can't help but try to get involved and try to fix it. In some ways, it's healthy. But when it comes to relationships, man, after a certain age, you got to start judging men accordingly. You know what I'm saying? I know at this age, it's kind of hard to get to that point. But when they get to their 30s and they still having them same emotional reactions, that's how you know, like, yeah, this ain't the man for me. He just blew up on his mama for correcting him in something he was obviously wrong in. He definitely not the right one. Or he just can't control his emotions. So you gotta be careful for a man who makes excuses about his emotions and how, I was just mad at you. That's why I slept with such and such. Like at a certain age, that's just like, boy, you immature as hell, and this ain't somebody you want to build with or have kids with.
I feel like when you're dealing with somebody like this, you have to peep the patterns. Like the fact that he used the first woman for the car, and he's using you for the housing and getting $500 a month.
Damn.
He's gonna keep going, and then honestly, it's just his response. Well, are you gonna do it? Are you gonna put your car in my name, or whatever the case may be? He's saying, well, whatever you won't do, the next girl will. So if you tell him no, his first thought is, okay, well, I'm gonna ask somebody else.
I blame his mama, man. That's what I'm telling you. That triangulation thing, that's a new word of the week. I'm gonna keep saying it until somebody get it. Triangulation, look it up, man. Involving a mama, man, they just gonna always sweeten the pot for the person. It's like 2 against 1. That's the triangulation. That's the negative part of it. It's like it's always 2 against 1 person. You're the person. And when you got mom on the team and she okay with what you're doing, you can almost get. That's why you get away with it, because women trust women. So when I meet your mama giving me this confirmation and all this stuff saying, oh, you're a good guy, blah, blah, I'm trusting you more because a woman has told me that. I'm just saying, it's kind of smart on his end. His mama is kind of like a duo, but when you the third person, you got to take what mama say with a grain of salt, 100%, especially if she was treating you like somebody she didn't even want around the first time than when she first met you, so just something to think about.
Looking back on it now, I feel like he couldn't do that because he would rather have no females knowing who I am or knowing anything about me, so he can portray to them that he's something that he wasn't, so he could sleep with them. We're just gonna call this girl Kyra, y'all. Before we get into the chapter about Kyra, I do want to notate that I would never get mad at the women. I realized early on is that that's what he wanted. He would say things like, these girls jealous of you, they scared of you, they just want you to leave me, just block them, don't say nothing back to them, just block them. Even then I knew he was lying. Like, why do you want me to be mad at these women so bad and block them and stuff? You want me to be mad at these women so bad because you didn't want us to come together and expose you. I feel like a lot of men do stuff like this. Like, they play both sides and they want women to be mad at each other so they can do what they want in peace. And meanwhile, whole time, these women, they so mad at each other, they not focusing on the common denominator, which is the man. And he's over here laughing at both of the women in his head like, damn, these some fools. So the next morning, I woke up to Kyra calling me. And it was no hello, it was no introduction. It was just straight, mute yourself. So I mute the phone, y'all. And next thing I know, I just hear his voice. So he's on the phone offering to pay her to call me back and say that she lied about everything. He was offering around $200. I can't remember exactly the amount, but I think it was around that. This is literally pissing me off even more because that is my money. Give me my money. I do want to notate that my best friend Lily came to spend the weekend with me after I kicked him out. Now I'm shaking. I'm shaking. I'm so mad. I still got the phone on mute. I'm telling my best friend, come on, we ran to my sister's room. Now all 3 of us are listening to their conversation, and we can just hear Kyra saying, no, I'm not calling her back. I already told her the truth. She's not going to believe me. This is when he said something that made me see red. He said, man, I'm telling you, she green as fuck. She going to believe anything. Now listen, was I naive? Yes, I've been telling y'all that. But does that make me a bad person for moving throughout my life trying to believe the best in people? My heart was so pure when I met him. I wasn't looking for him. I was in college, minding my business, living my life. He came bothering me. He came love bombing me. He came telling me that he's serious. He came telling me that he wanted to make a future with me. I was just a girl. Why wouldn't I believe him? I'm not thinking this man has bad intentions for me. But after hearing this, y'all, I was shaking. I was stone-faced. And my hurt started turning into rage. I literally could have felt my blood boiling inside. So after he realized that she wasn't going to do that, they hung up the phone, and I'm kidding y'all, not even 2 minutes later, I just hear banging at the door. And in that moment, I just went blank. I slid my Crocs into sports mode, and I just kept thinking to myself, he better not come in here. Because the way I was feeling, I was ready to beat the hell out of him. The second that he barged through the door, I didn't even let him speak. I literally just started uppercutting him all up in his face.
You might as well go on ahead, bruh.
Brother,
You might as well go ahead. Go ahead, lady.
I'm trying to tell y'all. Let's go. Fuck you, I
heard the call, bitch. So then he says, if anybody wants me to leave, y'all gonna have to put me out. When I tell y'all that was the wrong thing to say, so now I'm reading him for filth. Like, I'm not biting my tongue no more. I'm telling him exactly how I feel. I'm letting him know if only the world knew the real you. I even told him how I really felt about his music. I told him, man, you think you little baby or something? Your music ain't hitting on nothing. You ain't no little baby. Who you think you is? He started shaking his head like he's taking in what I'm saying and he's feeling some type of way towards it. But in that moment, I didn't care. I didn't care about his emotions. He didn't care about mine. So at the time, I did have a pet cat named Pretzel. And he grabbed Pretzel and he grabbed my phone and he ran to his car and locked them inside his car. That's all I want is my phone. Eventually, he does bring them back inside and he says he just wants to grab the rest of his things from out my room. Once we got back to my room, he says he's not leaving and he pushes me. But when he pushes me, I fall back onto the bed. And when he did that, y'all, in that moment, everything changed. He did this in front of my sister and my best friend. So as I'm getting up off the bed, all I know is Lay just swung on him. She just swung on him. And I can just hear him saying, yeah, Lay, I've been waiting on you. Come on, yeah. So it was like he was setting up on her. So at that moment, of course, I had to swing too. My best friend is not about to sit there and watch, this whole situation. Once I swung, she swung as well. Y'all, I really thought that I would have to use a lot of strength because this is a man. But it was really light work. Like, it was so light work. And the crazy part is he really was trying. I tell y'all, he could not do nothing with the three of us. He could not do nothing. And I noticed during the fight, he started targeting my best friend Lee. So of course, I'm like, hell no, like he's trying to get up on her. I start pulling his head back towards me. And I'm just pounding him in his fucking face. Next thing I know, he just starts screaming, okay, I'll leave. Fuck you, bitch. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out, bitch. Y'all, this man left limping.
Hell nah, 4K. I'm calling the police on their ass at this point. Y'all done beat his ass. Hey, listen, I didn't think most people be over exaggerating the little ass whoopings they be giving people. I'm like, okay, give them their little props. Starting a video off with 6 uppercuts in a row is crazy. He just sat there and let you spam uppercuts like that. Didn't bob, weave, nothing. He telling Lay to come on like he was about to throw one of those, and he lost.
To be fair, the only thing that probably hurt him was that comment about his rap career. Like let's be honest here. That's probably the only thing that hurt him, really. He let them get it off on him. He said, even though you just did all that, I'm gonna still sleep here, and you gonna allow me to do it. So they had to do that to him because he wasn't leaving. They had to. There was no other option.
I ain't never seen women kick some man ass like this.
To
This is
fair,
crazy. Look how little she is. So I'm thinking like, no way she did that damage. She was spamming uppercuts, chat. That's crazy, family. I just cannot believe he just sat there and let that happen 6 times. No way.
It
Not
was
even
deserving.
trying to move. I mean, it's just crazy, though. It's crazy. I don't blame her. This is what they call a crime of passion.
Yeah. If y'all ain't never had y'all heart broke and never been played to the point that it's just like no way. Like, it is no way of looking past this. Hey, I know y'all gonna be like, oh, wait, did I so wrong? You clearly ain't never been heartbroken to this point.
Yeah, I mean,
he literally just played in
I don't agree, though, with the fighting part. I think she should have just, kept herself under control. Because let a man did that. Now, let a man get emotional. Men get emotional, too. Let a man get emotional about stuff like that and come in and start spamming uppercuts. Now, if every woman would have fell to the ground, it would have been a massacre. Everybody go, oh, my God, no, he did not.
They told him to leave. He said, I'm not going nowhere. Y'all going to have to get me up out of here. So what did they do? They did exactly that.
You know what they should have did? Hello, 911? Cause once a man started spamming them uppercuts, I think he'd have did some damage to at least one of them. I think he was just allowing it, but it's just
Man,
like, ouch,
he
cause
been
I heard
waiting
it.
on Lee since she asked, "Can you push the car?" He
Yeah,
been waiting for this moment.
yeah, they pushing cars. You should have known that there was gonna be a tussle as soon as you come in that motherfucker. You talking about two women who just pushed the car? Like, yeah,
Yeah, he
they don't
playing with her
need no
too much
man.
though.
I don't need a man ass woman. They coming with those type of jabs, boy. You gotta watch who you play with in this world. I'm not saying violence is always the answer, but I definitely understand why they created that term crime of passion. Cause,
But
ooh,
y'all be wondering how you get somebody that's so nice and so loving and so giving, and they turn completely 360. It's because they meet somebody like that man. They really do it to you. They make you so cold hearted.
yeah, he said she green. That was worse than cheating. I don't
Like,
know. If somebody say you green, that means you easy. You're easy going. You easy to manipulate. You gonna go for anything if you don't know what that means. So I would have been hot too. Oh yeah, you gotta ruin his life. I would have ruined the life, not fought him though. But he did pop up, so he kind of asked for it.
And he was limping down the hallway. He had one shoe on. And he left his phone, he left the other shoe, he left everything. He just was trying to haul ass out the house. And that's when I kind of snapped back to reality and I started to feel a little bad. I looked at my sister and my best friend. I'm like, did anybody poke him? Like, did anybody stab him with anything? Because where's this blood coming from? They both said no, which only meant that, okay, nobody used no weapons. He just got a good old clean ass whooping that he definitely deserved. Now he's on the other side of the door and he's begging for me to bring him a washcloth so he can wipe the blood and bring him his phone. But I didn't want to let him back in because I knew that if we had let him back in, we just had a hard time getting him out. He started screaming through the door, I just want to talk. I just want to talk. We can talk about this. If you don't let me back in, I'm going to call the police. I still didn't let him back in because I'm not believing that he's really going to call the police. He claimed to be such this big street dude. I'm not thinking he's really going to call the police. Thinking to myself, yeah, right. Why would he call the police? And he a drug trafficker. Those type of people don't be dealing with the police. So I ignored him. I didn't let him back in. A few minutes go by, y'all, and I just wanted to check and see if he still was out there. So I'm looking out the window. Tell me why this man is talking to two police officers and pointing at my apartment. This man was beaten so badly that he was out there getting checked by the ambulance. Next time I know, the police is at my door and they're knocking on the door. So I opened the door and Lee and my sister them was about to explain, but I'm closer to the police officers. So I'm looking at the police officer's notepad and I see the word lynching. Immediately, my criminal justice background kicked in. I knew that they were trying to charge all three of us with a lynching charge. Mind you, he had been staying there for a while, so he's already telling the police officers that this is his home. I immediately took over the conversation and I let them know that it was a fight between me and him and my friend and my sister. They were trying to break it up. I did this because regardless of the fact that, okay, I'm the one in college, I'm the one that can't really get a charge like this, regardless of any of that, I brought this man into our life. I brought this man into their life. What kind of person would I be if I allow my sister or my best friend to take a charge like that will follow them for the rest of their life? I couldn't live with myself if that would have happened. Now the police are lingering around. Like, they can't get the lynching charge. They have a badly bruised man outside. They want somebody to go to jail for this, but they're trying to figure out what to charge anybody with. They went back outside to talk to him, and he's showing them a video of when he kidnapped my cat and stole my phone and put it in his car. And I came out during that time. I'm about to flatten your tires. I had a knife and I was going to flatten his tires because you're not about to kidnap my cat and leave me without a phone. He made it seem like I was so fucking crazy that I was trying to kill him. So when they came back in, they were like, ma'am, stand up, put your hands behind your back. I already had an idea though that I was possibly going to jail. I knew that. But did I want to go? Hell no. I did not want to go. But I would rather me go than my sister and my best friend. So at this moment, I'm in the back of the police car and I can hear my sister trying to bribe the police officer. She was trying to bribe him. She's like, how much you want? Whatever you want. Take me instead of her. So the police officer tells her, ma'am, bribing a police officer is a crime. I do want to notate that the police officers, they didn't really want to take me to jail. At least one of them didn't, because he did ended up coming to talk to me and just letting me know that he doesn't want to take me to jail, but he knows that it has to be more to the story. But he's also saying that his boss is on his head, like he has to take me to jail because a week before this, there was a murder suicide and it was connected to domestic violence. A man killed his girlfriend and then killed himself a week before all of this. So they were being stricter now on domestic violence cases. So at this point, I'm in jail and I'm just trying to figure out like what the heck can I do to get out of this situation. I first called my mom. She sounded so disappointed in me, y'all. That hurt it even more. She was so disappointed in me. So I came up with the idea that I got to get this man to drop these charges. So he did end up telling me that he felt bad about me being in jail and he's going to try to do everything to get me out of this situation. At this point, I done had 3 phone calls. I called my sister, I called my mom, and I called him. I didn't realize something. At this point, I already had used the phone 3 times, and I didn't know that we were supposed to take turns. This big man that was sitting in the room waiting for his turn just ends up screaming out loud, "Somebody better get off the phone before they get punched in their face." I'm terrified because a grown ass man, big ass man, is telling me that he's gonna punch me in my face. But when he was saying this, he said it from behind me. I'm still looking in front of me on the phone. So I'm still looking this way, but I heard what he said from behind me. And I didn't want him to think that he intimidated me, even though I'm terrified as fuck. I didn't want him to think that I was afraid of him. So I suck up, chest out, and I turn. I'll be off in a minute, the fuck. And when I turn back around, I'm whispering, "This man just said he gonna punch me in my fucking face. Get me the hell out of here." That moment I realized jail might have been a whole nother fight that I was not ready for. I'm not ready for that. If y'all would like more to this story, then go ahead and comment part 8 in the comments, repost, like, because yeah, it's just getting crazier. It's just getting crazier. Hey y'all, this is part 8, how I got away from a narcissist. Let's go ahead and get into it. I did forgot to mention a few other things that happened up until this point, and I don't want to continue in the story without mentioning all the other stuff that happened. As I'm retelling the story, I'm remembering more stuff. So that's why sometimes I may forget some things because as I go on, it's starting to come back. Okay, y'all, so I do remember a time where he had a performance at a club. So he had told me that I can invite some of my friends. So I invited my friend Dee, my best friend Lee, and my sister. Dee and Lee had to come from out of town to in town for this performance. Dee came from Spartanburg, Lee came from Anderson. Y'all, so everybody is getting prepared for the event. Everybody bought new outfits, got their hair done, their nails done. Everybody looks good. Y'all, tell me why. When we walk into the club, nobody was there. Nobody was there but 3 strippers. Y'all, that shit was so embarrassing. It was so embarrassing because he hyped it up. Y'all, this man hyped up that event like this was about to be the latest party of the season. So I'm looking around and I'm expecting to see the fans. Where are the fans? Where are these fans that you so-called say you have? Y'all, but we did not need nobody to be there. Like, we did not need nobody to have a good time. We had a great time, the 4 of us by ourselves. But still, why did you do all that capping? Like, if that was the case, we wouldn't have bought no new outfits and doing all that. I probably would have get something in my closet. But the way you did that was just another thing that I forgot to mention was when I was reading him for Phil, I also snatched the necklace that he gave me for my birthday and I ran and I flushed it down the toilet. And here he comes behind me screaming. I can hear him screaming, "I get you mad. I understand that you're mad, but you can't be doing that. That's real gold." Keep in mind, y'all, this is in the midst of me being extremely upset. So I look at this nigga. I said, "Nigga, if you don't shut the fuck up, I know it's fake. I know it's fake. Every 5 seconds, I'm scratching the back of my fucking neck. I know it's fake. Stop lying. Why are you lying?" So y'all, as I'm going throughout this story, I want to do my best of spitting knowledge to y'all. So before we get into the story of me being in jail, I do want to give y'all some advice. If you are ever in an encounter with the police and you done did some crazy shit and you're not the victim, do not be sitting there talking to them. The people is not your friend. When they start all that, "Hey, how are you today? Where you coming from? Where you going to? Where you been?" All of that, I like to call this fishing. This is a police tactic. So where they're trying to get you calm enough so you can continue to talk to them. People is not your friend. Do not be thinking they care about you. They are there to do their job. Their job is to arrest people for crimes. They will pretend like they care about you, and the whole time they are building a case against you. The next thing you know, you are in handcuffs. Just use your 5th Amendment. Shorter terms, your 5th Amendment is your right to shut the hell up. If you use your 5th Amendment, then you can possibly get out of the situation if there's no evidence against you. Now, even if they arrest you, just shut up. Use your 5th Amendment. Shut up and ask for a lawyer. If y'all do what I'm telling y'all, eventually, even after being arrested, if they even arrest you, there's a possibility that they won't even arrest you. But if they do, just shut up. Use your 5th Amendment. And if there's no evidence against you, no videos, no nothing, no text messages, eventually those charges will drop because there's no evidence. But if you start running your mouth and admitting to stuff, this is how you basically arrest your own self. This situation that I was in was completely different because they had RAS. RAS can be defined as reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime. They had a badly beaten man outside, knotted the fuck up outside, saying that he was jumped by 3 women in my apartment. This is their RAS. So this RAS gave them the ability to come knocking on that door and investigate us. But we also had the right to invoke the 5th Amendment. But I'm well aware that if we did that, then they possibly, because of his injuries, they possibly would have just took what he said and arrested all three of us. So that was the only reason why I spoke up, because my sister and my best friend are not well adjusted on the law like that. That's not what they studied. So I spoke up because I didn't want them to start talking and admitting to jumping that man. And the next thing you know, we all in handcuffs. If that would have happened and we all got arrested, he didn't have no video of the jumping. So he didn't have no evidence for the police of that. So even if we all would have got arrested, the charges possibly would have dropped. But I didn't have time to communicate with my sister and my best friend to explain that to them. The RAS gave them the ability to investigate us. So at this point, we are basically detained and they're investigating us and they're in the house. So they can see, obviously, that there was a scuffle in the home. That is evidence. That is evidence that is supporting the RAS. Bottom line is, any encounters with the police and you are not the victim, just shut up, invoke your Fifth Amendment, and ask for a lawyer. Now let's go ahead and get into the story. At this point, I am in jail. I'm still at the phone. I hear that big ass man from behind me telling me he gonna punch me off fucking face if I don't get off the phone. I turn and I tell him I'll be off in a minute. The fuck. I turn back around and I'm whispering on the phone and I'm letting him know, like, you got to get me the fuck out of here. Like, this big ass man just threatened to punch me in my face. Get me out of here. Y'all, when I tell y'all I hung up that phone so fast, because obviously whoever he was so anxious to get on that phone and talk to, I just wanted him to have his call because I just didn't want no problems with that man. After I hung up that phone, I went and go sat down. I saw this girl. She looked it like she was young, but she was an older woman. She just looked it like she was around my age. I went and sat beside her. Just gonna call her Sarah. Sarah could tell that I was a little shaken up and she befriended me. So now it's time for us to go to the back, and this is when they separate the men and the women. The women went down one hall, the men went down the other. They gave us our mats and everything, and we're still walking towards the block for the women. And I'm just in my head, just telling myself, suck that shit up. Suck that shit up, chest out, and do not go up in there acting soft. I did exactly that. And I just put the most fuck around and find out facial expression that I could make on my face. Y'all, this was late at night. So as soon as we walk into the block, all of the inmates are already in their cells. But it was this one girl looking outside of her cell door window, still on the bottom floor, but I just hear her scream. I'm just gonna call her Jules. So Jules was inside her cell already, but she's looking out of the window, looking down at us. And Jules has an afro, but it's split down the middle. And one side is parted into boxes with rubber bands around the boxes. She just started screaming. She was like, y'all, we got some new ones. And then she points at me, and she's pretty too. So now all of the inmates are coming to the window and they're looking down at us. But I really didn't know what to do in that moment. So I didn't know whether to say thank you. I didn't know what to do. So I just gave her a little smirk. Because keep in mind now, I'm coming in there and I'm thinking the worst. I'm thinking these girls about to be so mean to me. So now the CO is leading me and Sarah up the stairs to our cell. Ended up taking me and Sarah to a cell that only had one bed. Was trying to be nice because the bed was so small. So I offered Sarah that I just put my mat on the floor. You can take the bed. Sarah immediately told me, no, we're going to sleep in this bed together. We're going to stack our mats and we're going to get in here together. So now me and Sarah are squeezed up in this small little cell bed together. Her head is this way, my head is this way, but we're smushed up together. That was so uncomfortable, but also very comforting because of Sarah. Sarah was so nice to me. And we just talked all night. I remember Sarah telling me about her husband and her daughter. Her and her husband are from Atlanta, and they were arrested together. And they were transferred to Columbia's jail. Her husband was on the men's side. She was on the women's side. I believe that Sarah and her husband were in there for fraud or some type of loan fraud or the PPP loan, something like that. Sarah was telling me about her baby girl. She had her just 3 or 4 months earlier. In the midst of us talking and just venting to each other, y'all, this fat ass rat, fat as fuck, fucking rat, just ran across the freaking floor. I just remember thinking, like, thank God Sarah told me to get in that bed with her, because y'all, I don't know what I would do. They would have to get me out of that cell. I was extremely afraid of that rat. Sarah just kept talking to me, trying to take my mind off the fact that we got a fat ass fucking rat. It looked like it's a New York rat in the cell with us. Just thinking like, okay, maybe we can call the CO to come kill it. So eventually Sarah just keeps talking, and I do eventually stop thinking about the rat. I knew it was still there. I'm still frightened as fuck of it, but there's nothing I can do. We also had a window right above this bed, and it had a crack in it. So it's like a hole right here. And it was so cold in that cell. The thin ass blankets that they gave us didn't do nothing. I was so cold. Sarah was cold too. And at this point, we just trying to get closer and closer to rub against each other, the feet off of each other body heat. So eventually Sarah falls asleep, but I couldn't sleep. Like, just think about the freaking day I had. I couldn't sleep. So all I did was just look out the window, and I'm just looking at the moon, and I'm just like thinking, like, I'm just praying and wishing that I could be anywhere else in the world looking up at the moon. I started to silently cry to myself, because regardless of the fact that, let's talk about that, because the reason why he got that good ass whooping, because it started in a place of hurt. It wasn't just immediately rage. It was hurt. It was so much hurt. He kept doing shit, piled up on me. Then it got to the rage. Looking back at it now, I really feel like he knew that he deserved that ass whooping. And I felt like he should have took that ass whooping like a man. And if you was hurt that badly, then you should have got in your car and went to the hospital on your own time. Don't bring no damn police and no ambulance and shit to my fucking house. I'm just replaying, like, how the fuck can you do me like that? Like, I was so good to this man. If I had my last dollar, that man had 50 cents. Or probably the whole fucking dollar. That's how good to that man I was. That man was a piece of shit, I truly loved that man. I really did. And that's why he got that ass whooping as badly as he did, because I loved him. I loved him, and he fucking around and doing dumbass shit that he ain't supposed to be doing.
This just
Nah, we not skipping over that one right there, because let a man have said some shit like that.
Yeah, I do believe
he got that ass whooping because of what?
Yeah.
Let us all hear that one more time again. Let us all just come together and hear that. Are we all in agreement that this is okay? Because let me know in the comments section.
I do believe that a person can only take so much, but on a serious note, it should never lead to violence. It does hurt.
That sounds crazy. Yeah. I don't care what nobody talking about that.
Her just saying that,
that sounded crazy.
She was seeing red. When you're in those moments, that's why it's best.
She said, I whooped his ass because I loved him.
Hey.
I done heard Ike told Tina some shit like that. And I done heard a lot of abusers say some shit like that. But let me tell you something. That's not good. Yeah, just because a woman said it, don't make it any better. It's funny because as a man, in a sense, it's like he should have got the best of that situation. But it's still crazy.
I truly believe if she didn't really care about him, then she wouldn't have been so enraged. Only somebody that you truly love and care about can get you that enraged. Anybody else is just like, you're just unfazed by them. But it's definitely not okay. When it comes to this point, it's just best to leave that person alone. Because nobody wants to catch a charge. Nobody wants to go to jail. Do I think the jumping in with the friends jumping in was excessive? Yes. It all was. It just all got out of hand. But yes, on a serious note, just leave the relationship at that point.
I mean, he probably was getting the best of the fight at one point. He was pushing, so they had to jump. But, that was just a wild statement. That was just a wild statement she made.
That is why you cannot be out here doing shit with people or even dating people who don't got nothing to lose. I had a whole lot of shit to lose. That man didn't have nothing to lose. He had nothing to his fucking name. Eventually, I do fall asleep, and then the next morning, I woke up and I had to pee so bad. Oh, the toilet didn't work, and it didn't flush, and it didn't have no tissue. So embarrassed to use the bathroom. But Sarah ended up telling me, just use it. I'll turn around. I remember feeling so freaking violated, like I was getting stripped of my dignity, because I had a whole jumpsuit on with no bra. So I had to take off the jumpsuit, pull it down, and expose myself in this filthy freaking place. I didn't even have tissue to wipe myself. I felt so freaking disgusting, like I was less than human. Eventually came in with food, but it looked so freaking slack. They had biscuit, oatmeal, sausage, orange juice, and milk. But the biscuit looked so freaking dry. I wasn't eating that. I didn't plan on being there that long, so I wasn't going to eat that food. I just drank the juice and the milk, and I gave Sarah that food. Now they're finally letting us out of the cell, and we get to go to the bottom floor where the common area is. And the girl from the night before, Jules, she was the first one to run up at me. She looked crazy as fuck. She did, but she was so nice. She told me and Sarah to come sit over here with me and my friends. Now that we are at the table, Jules is like complimenting me, telling me how pretty I am. She really likes my hair, touching my hair and stuff. I had some knotless braids and my lash extensions and stuff. I'm surprised that they even let me keep on the lash extensions. So I really did look really good. So she wasn't lying or anything. Because she was being so nice, I wanted to throw her a compliment back. So I told her I liked her hair too. Now mind y'all, Jules' hair was fucked up. Jules' hair was fucked up, okay? And she had the afro, she had the thing down the middle and the bubble bands. And she looked like a fucking mess. Because she was so nice to me, I was not going to be mean to her, so I was going to be nice back, so I threw her back that compliment. Everybody at the table started bust out laughing like, bitch, be for real. Jules even laughed it too, so I could tell she had a sense of humor. It was like she knew her hair was fucked up. So now the CO is coming back in, and he's calling off a list of names, and my name was on the list to go see the judge. This is where the men and women came back together. So we're all sitting in chairs in front of the judge. This is where we see if we can get bond or not, and the victims can come speak at this point. Remember a man standing in front of the judge, and his victim was a woman. And she just was explaining how this man had kidnapped her in her own car twice at knife point, and she's just so in fear of him. I was just looking at the whole situation and listening and shit. I'm scared of his ass too. Like, keep his ass locked up. He was looking like he did not care at all what that woman had to say. Come about, he got to work and all kind of stuff. He got a new job. What they got to do with anything? You out here kidnapping women at knife point in their own vehicle. She should have had some bitches with her to tap his ass too. And the judge did deny his bond. And as I'm just waiting for my turn, I just processing through my head. I'm just like, I should not be in here with these people. These are criminals. These are bad people. I'm not a bad person. I don't be fucking with nobody. I mind my business and people come fuck with me, and that's when problems start. That's exactly how I go. When did y'all ever hear my name and shit fucking with people or bothering people? I don't do that. I stay in my own lane. I mind my own business. And then people come fucking with me, and now we got fucking problems. So the night before this, when I was on the phone and I called him, he told me he would be there so we can get these charges dropped. I'm expecting him to be here. Y'all, I just keep looking at the door. My turn coming up. I just keep looking at the door, like praying that this man walk through this fucking door. Where you at? I'm scared because these other victims are here. These victims are here, and they telling the judge. They're telling the judge that they are so fucking scared. They don't want these people to get no bond. Now my turn is here. He is nowhere to be seen, and I'm in front of the judge. And the judge asks the prosecutor, does the victim have anything they want to say? So the prosecutor is telling the judge, I tried to call him all morning, but I can't get him on the phone. But due to the severity of the crime, when I tell y'all, I stopped that prosecutor in his tracks. I said, excuse me, judge. He has 2 phones. He has 2 numbers. Because the prosecutor only called 1 number. He didn't call the other number. And I knew this other number off the top of my head. So I'm like, Judge, can you try to please call the other number? So the prosecutor did take the number down, and then he went out into the hall to make the call. Y'all, it seemed like forever for that prosecutor to come back in, but the whole time I'm just praying, like, please answer that fucking phone. So the prosecutor does eventually come back in, and he lets the judge know that I did get to speak to the victim, and he doesn't want to pursue any charges. But the judge also let me know that, hey, even though the victim doesn't want to pursue these charges, the state can still pick these charges up. But due to him not wanting to pursue and the fact that I have a clean record, they allowed me out on PR bond. After everybody finished up in there, they separated us again and took us back to our blocks. And I'm just waiting at this point to be processed out. So once I walk back into the block, I see Jules and Sarah sitting together with a few other inmates at a table near the basketball court. When I walked over to them, they just were talking about everybody's reasons for being in jail. One had said check fraud, another one said DUI, and another one said robbery. I'm just sitting here listening to them tell their stories. I'm not telling my business. But they were wanting so badly to know how someone like me ended up in jail. I felt like even though I was trying to portray that I'm not much different from them, they could tell I was different. The way I had talked, the way I had walked, the way I had looked, I wasn't fooling them. I really think that's why they gravitated towards me more. I did eventually feel comfortable enough to explain my situation. They were the first to tell me that if a man sends you here, that man don't care nothing about you. They started to tell me their stories about how they were dealing with men that led them to jail. And they also were letting me know they don't ever want to see me in here again. There was an older, thick, white lady doing all the talking, and we just gonna call her Kim. But Kim was cutthroat and real. Like, Kim looked like she'd get out there with you and probably whoop your ass. I had a lot of respect for Kim because she kept it real. I did not want to be like Kim, and she did not want me to end up like her. It was almost like she was scolding me like a mother would her child, but it was not in a bad way. Like, she was telling me some real stuff that literally sticks with me today. Y'all, I just felt myself starting to get emotional, and I think Kim could have told that. So she grabbed both of my hands, and she looked me dead in my eyes, and she said, suck that shit up. You're not gonna cry in here. You're not gonna cry in here. You're gonna wait till you get home. I did exactly what Kim told me to do. I sucked that shit up. At this point, I'm just waiting to get processed out, so I wasn't about to add no money on no phone card. But the women were so nice, they allowed me to use theirs. Eventually, I heard my name being called, and they told me it's time for me to go. Yo, when I tell you I hauled ass so fucking fast, what? I was like Flash. I was getting out of that bitch. I didn't even want to go back to the damn room to grab all the other shit they told me I had to grab. I just was ready to fucking go. Y'all, I moved so fast that I didn't even stop to give them a hug or get their information. To this day, I really do wish that I had stopped and take a moment and got Sarah's information. Now, all I can remember about Sarah is her last name was Johnson. She was from Atlanta. She had a husband and a baby girl, and she was in there for some type of fraud. I don't even remember Sarah's first name, and I can barely remember how Sarah's face looked. It's like a blur. I think about Sarah all the time, y'all, and I truly pray that her and her husband and her baby girl are out there living their best life somewhere, and they ain't doing no more crimes. I pray that they are okay. So now I'm in the area where we wait to get processed out, and they're just trying to make sure everybody has transportation. Everybody got a ride or a bus ticket. When he got to me, he's like, I'm not even worried about you. Your people was ringing the phone off the hook all morning. I know somebody outside for you. That was really the first time that I allowed myself to smile. Because even though this bum ass coward who knew he deserved that ass whooping put me in this situation and he was not there, at least my family was there. So as I'm walking out the doors, I see my grandpa, and I just ran into his arms. And it felt like I finally allowed myself to breathe. Like, I felt like I couldn't breathe in there. And I'm just breathing so freaking heavily, trying to just get all the air. I started to cry. And it felt like I was crying in his arms forever. It looked like I wet his whole freaking shirt up. And it wasn't that long, though, because I wanted to get as far away from there as I could. I did not want to see those fences. I didn't want to see none of that. So I'm like, come on, Grandpa, let's get the heck out of here. Get me far away from here. So as I'm looking at out the window in the car, I'm trying so hard to hold my tears in, but I can't because I'm so hurt. And I'm just thinking to myself, Maya, you got to start to be able to control your emotions. You cannot get that angry and just snap. Because a lot of men, they act, no matter how big, bad they act, they cannot take an ass whooping. I really feel like that's what it was, y'all. Like, this was not planned. This was not premeditated. He puffed his fucking chest up like he's so...
The fact that that was the message, boy, she gonna go back to jail acting like this.
Yeah.
Like, what you mean? You know what? I gotta control my emotions because men just don't know how to take an ass whooping. I don't think nobody knows how to take an ass whooping.
It started off good. I'm like, wow, like, okay, this is inspiring. We learned something from this, and then it just went completely left.
And I ain't gonna lie to you, it sounded like they was about to have their way with her in prison. She lucky she only had 24 hours in that motherfucker. The way they was already playing with your hair, calling you cute, growling around you, girl, you was about to be a damn victim. They forced you to get in the bed together. You told me, I thought that was a good idea. You was originally wanting to sleep on the fucking floor. You was just going outside. Then you gave your meal to somebody else. Don't ever go back to jail again. Don't ever in your life. And then you're telling them why you're in jail. You're about to get out of jail soon. Just don't go back.
She did everything that they
Don't
told you
go
not
back.
to do when you go to jail.
Go to school, be a criminal justice person. Don't ever do the criminal shit again. Control your emotions.
Luckily, she ain't mentioned that part. Oh yeah, I'm actually studying to do something like this in the field.
I'm about to be a cop. You ain't gonna tell them that though. Shit, you talking about you ain't told them nothing. You told them everything. They knew exactly when you was getting out. They even told you, they comfort you. So eventually she just can't. Like, don't tell people your business in there, because a lot of people are not looking forward to you getting out. You think they happy? They stuck in for the rest of their life, and here's a girl here who just smacked the dude, and then she gonna be out here in a couple minutes. Like, you lucky. You lucky that you didn't have to spend more time with those people, because those people you talking about probably wouldn't have been your friends after year 1, year 2. You would have probably saw a different side to Sarah, and they was grooming the hell out of you, and you just did not even notice it. You thought they was just showing you love. Nah, welcome to prison. This is narcissism 101. You think men are narcissists? Man, wait till you meet a woman who good at that shit. You will feel comfortable. That's why they say, like, a lot of these trafficking leaders, like, trafficking people, it's ran by women. Who trusts people better? A woman to trust a woman more than a man. How can I take a woman? They're not going to already see that. They already assume that I'm a bad person. But when it's a woman, oh, 8 out of 10 times they about to go do what that woman said and get tricked out of their position. So I'm just saying that to say women make up the biggest when it comes to manipulation and narcissism, especially if they've been dealing with it from a man. They get around a woman who's easy to manipulate, and it's just like an automatic switch. So I mean, I'm just saying you almost went out bad in there, just based off everything you said. You was not about to make it in prison, but it's okay. A lot of us probably won't, But the way you was acting like you was thugging it out, nah, get the hell out of there. Don't punch nobody ever again.
Yeah, I think her message should be control your emotions, because that split second where you lose all control and it's just rage, that moment can change your life forever. You can be locked up, and who's to tell what the sentencing will be. Oh my goodness, I can't get it out.
Yeah, she went to jail for sure. She would have definitely went to jail. Like, that got serious. I told you should have called the police yourself. Because once you put your hands on a man, first of all, if you put your hands on a man first, a man can hit you back. Y'all do know that by law. If you hit, it's not good. Listen, from a moral standpoint, it just doesn't look good. But if a woman hits a man and a man punches that woman back and she gets knocked out, to the police, you started that altercation. He defended himself. Was it right? No. But I mean, technically, this is a part of the stand your ground type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So be careful out there thinking that you can hit a man out of emotions and think because we men that we won't hit you back or we won't call the police. It was either one of the two things. I'm going to knock you out or I'm going to call the police.
Yeah.
So,
and then she came outside with a knife trying to flatten his tire. So now the police are going to look at it like, well, that situation went from inside the apartment to now outside, and now it's vandalism. And it just gets out of control.
And then you hit him first. So, like, yeah, he came knocking on your door, and you showed us a video of you uppercutting him. As soon as he comes to the door, the police couldn't have knew about that tape. You know what I'm saying? You didn't say your friends didn't do that, but then you told us they did do something.
It's something you can laugh about now.
You didn't show us, but it's like,
if the situation escalated more than what it already did, it would not be a laughing matter.
Yeah, you better check the statute of limitation on shit. But I don't know if you can revisit cases like this after they throw them away, so maybe not. But just be careful, y'all. Be careful. I know she's sad and emotional right now, but this could have been easily avoided.
Big and bad and almighty like he wanted that with my sister. And this is why it caused him to get his ass whooped the way he did. In simple terms, he fucked around and he found out. And he just couldn't take that. He couldn't take that ass whooping. I'm not going to lie. Even though he did that fucked up situation to me, I still cared about him. I still cared about him because back then it didn't matter. It didn't matter what you did to me. That was my mindset back then. So many people done stumped me over, done did all kind of shit to me, and I still had love for them. I would just eat it up. I would just swallow it. Back then, I used to put people before myself. I'm telling y'all this stuff so y'all can learn from my experience. Don't ever put nobody before yourself. Unless it's like your bitches, like understandable. Because I 100% believe that if it was my sister's boyfriend or my best friend's boyfriend and we had to tap that ass, they would have took that charge too. So he did end up calling me. And as soon as he got on the phone, and I'm just like, why wasn't you there? Like, you told me you was going to be there. He tells me that he was outside in the parking lot and he was waiting for one of the COs or something to come tell him to come in. Now, I don't know if he was in that parking lot or not, y'all. But I feel like today, if all those other victims made their way in there to speak, how you didn't make your way in there to speak? At this point, the judge had a restraining order in place. I didn't want to communicate with that man no more. I hung up that phone. But he's constantly calling, just calling back to back, texting back to back, double text. I finally got home, y'all, and my nose was stuffed up. My eyes was puffed up. You can tell that I just had me a hard fucking time immediately. Probably like I only had 30 minutes to jump in the shower and get myself together and try to bury everything, just try to bury all those emotions. I haven't even eaten. I can't even eat because I had a full day of clients that day, a full schedule of clients. So I just had to go ahead and just try to do what I need to do because I still needed the freaking money because rent was coming up. So now, after I finished all my clients, my sister and my best friend, they wanted to take my mind off of everything that just happened in their house. So they said, let's get out of here. We went to Conway, and they took me to a club in Conway, just trying to get my mind off everything. Y'all, on camera, it would look like I was having my best life, like I was living it up. But behind the camera, behind the fake smile, behind the fake laughs, behind my eyes, I was dying. I was dying inside. From learning from my experience of what I went through, you never know what people going through. You don't. People can put on a front. I did it. I made it look good. But I was hurting so bad. And I couldn't figure out how a man that I loved would do some shit like that to me and knowing how much I had to lose. So after the weekend was over, I went back home and I remember not being able to sleep for nights, not being able to eat or anything. And I just was sick. So now he's contacting me and letting me know that he has gotten me a lawyer. So now we are regular in communication with the lawyer. The lawyer told him to go down to the solicitor's office and write out a statement on why he does not want the state to pick up these charges. Once he did do that, he brought me a copy of his statement. I'm just reading the statement over y'all. Y'all tell me why. From the handwriting, the misspelled words, the run-on sentences, I could barely understand what the fuck I was reading. No wonder why his damn music wasn't doing a fuck thing, because the man could barely write a sentence, let alone trying to make a career in music. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. That man writing was illiterate as fuck. Now today, I got to some men to write a sentence on a sheet of paper on the first date so I can see what the hell going on up there. So today, the charges are officially dropped. I had to get the rest expunged from my record, but eventually that went through as well. So I don't have anything on my record. But say if I want to go use my degree at SLED, I would have to answer questions about that arrest because it takes 5 years until I don't have to answer any questions about that arrest. I can go to local places like the sheriff department or something like that and don't have to answer questions about it. But say if I want to start hiring up in my ranking, they're gonna want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. I don't like talking about this, but talking with my therapist makes me feel more comfortable about living in my truth. Speaking like this is what it is. It happened, and it is what it is. I can't change that. But those things that happened to me made me how I am today. And if it can help, if it can warn the young women coming up, then I'm doing something right. I know I am, because I wished I had somebody doing this when I was coming up. I didn't have nobody doing that. Everybody's so quiet and behind closed doors and just taking shit and taking shit and taking shit, and they so freaking embarrassed about speaking what the fuck going on behind closed doors. So one day I came home late at night, and I think it was like probably 3 weeks to a month after me getting out of jail, and I just come home one night and I see him sleeping outside my apartment complex in his car. If y'all would like more to this story, then comment part 9 in the comments, because y'all, I'm telling y'all thought that ass whipping was the tip of the fucking iceberg, but it's not. It's not. This shit is getting fucking crazier. Hey y'all, this is part 9, how I got away from a narcissist. Let's go ahead and get into it. So y'all, after this whole situation, I graduated college early. All A's, not one single B. Cum laude at that, with a degree I couldn't even use. Right after my arrest, everything just fell apart. I just remember just being so hurt. I was so hurt and I was so depressed. I couldn't eat. I could barely sleep at night. Like, my schedule was so messed up. I started to smoke more because I didn't want to feel anything. I didn't want to feel nothing. I stopped posting on social media. I remember times going to, like, have an idea of what I wanted to make a dish or something at home, and I have the ingredients in my head, and I would go to the grocery store. And when I got there, my anxiety was so bad that I would just grab anything, any little thing, just to get the heck out of that grocery store so fast, just because being in public made me feel so anxious. Like, I felt like everybody knew what was going on. Everybody knew that I was a fool, and they just was looking at me and laughing. And the whole time, these people don't even know what was going on in my life, but I felt like they did. I honestly did not want to be seen in the world. Even going through all of this, I always was a go-getter. So I never stayed down too long. So after, not being able to use my degree, I said, fuck it, and I'm gonna go ahead to nail school and let me just go ahead and get my license. I tried to keep moving, even though I was dealing with so much and everything was buried. Everything was buried inside of me, but I wanted to keep moving through life. But inside, I felt like I was so numb, and I started to move through my days like a zombie. Because I really felt like everything I worked for, I worked hard for. I worked hard to graduate high school early. I worked hard to graduate college early. And just to have that stripped away from me just like that, off of one split decision, off of whipping that man's ass, like, I felt like he did that to hurt me. He did that to hurt me. He knew how bad I worked at that. He knew how bad I did. And then how could you do that to me? So one night I did come home and I saw him sleeping in his car. He was telling me that he had nowhere to go. Y'all, we talking about back then. Back then, I feel like my heart was too big for this world. Like this was the wrong generation for me to be born in or something. Because I felt bad for him, even though this man hurt me. He took stuff that I worked hard for from me. I still felt bad for him. So I did let him back in. When I let him back in, y'all, I'm not kidding. Like he just went to sleep so peacefully, like he was having a hard time on the streets or something. But I just was looking at him sleeping. I didn't like the fact that he could have sleep. I didn't like that. I was having trouble sleeping. And how the heck can you just sleep so peacefully after breaking me the way you just did? I remember like I could not sleep next to him. I did not feel comfortable sleeping next to him. I would get out of the bed late at night and I go lay on the couch and I just look up at the ceiling and just hating him, hating myself for even letting him back in the home. I hated him and I hated myself. I started to question God and I'll be like, this cannot be love. This cannot be it for me. Like, can he even hear me? Can he even feel me? Like, why did he even give me a heart like this in this fucked up world? I questioned God. So eventually my sister did end up moving out because she wanted to go to hair school. And she didn't want to go to hair school and, overloading herself with bills and stuff. So she would rather go back home because, that hair school schedule is like Monday through Friday. And you only got like the weekends off. So she didn't want to overload. And then my best friend moved away too. And it was just me and this man in this home. It didn't even feel like a home. I felt like I was living with the enemy. Shortly after I was alone with him in the home, that is when the belittling started. He would tell me that I was nothing without him. He would tell me that my degree wasn't nothing. He would make me feel so low, like a dog on the street. And over time, after hearing it enough, I started to believe him. I started to believe that I was nothing without him. I started to believe that I was worth nothing. I started to believe that degree and how hard I worked for it meant nothing. I forgot who I was. I forgot how hard I worked and what I was working for. I remember just going to school and it would be days when people try to call my name and it would take me a minute to even realize that they're talking to me. That is how lost I was in this world. I lost my connection to God. I lost my connection to myself. I lost my connection to everything. People would applaud me all the time for being so young and having accomplished so much at my young age. And I forgot all of that about myself. People would come up applauding me. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. You really feel that way about me? I don't even feel that way about me. That's how it was. And they always try to put it on like, oh, I'm so talented or I'm so smart. Deep down, that wasn't even it for me. I had a strong connection to God before this man. I would sit by myself and have a conversation with God like I'm talking to y'all right now. And I would bargain with him. I would never ask for something without offering something. For example, I wanted to graduate high school early. I sat here and I talked to God. And I asked him, hey God, if I give up this whole summer, and if I sit at this computer every single day this whole summer, can you make that happen for me? Another example, I wanted to learn how to do nails and start doing nails. I asked God, hey God, if I sit here in this same spot for 30 days straight, sun up to sun down, and watch YouTube nail tutorials and drop 8K without ever even touching a nail set, can you make this happen for me? That's what I would do. I wasn't just out here able to do things. I had a connection with God and myself. Being with this man, I lost my connection. I lost myself. There was nobody home. One thing that I do like to applaud myself on is that regardless of how low and how stumped down that I felt, I always stood up for others against him. I always protected others against him. I remember one day that I was babysitting my uncle's kid. The baby was like 2 or 3 at the time. And I'm just babysitting the baby. And I didn't want to take the baby outside because it's cold. I don't want the baby to get a cold or anything. So I asked him, I gave that man, like, I think it was like $20 or $30 or 40, one of those. I gave the man the money. Can you please run and go get pizza so I can feed the baby and ourselves in the home? So once he came back, I gave the baby a slice of pizza and I jumped in the shower. As I'm in the shower, I hear the most painfulest, loudest scream. So I jumped out that shower quick. Like I just grabbed a towel that was on the rack and I wrapped it around me and I ran around there. I'm trying to see what's wrong with the baby. When I got to the kitchen, the baby was on the floor crying, throwing a tantrum. So I asked the baby what's wrong. The baby started pointing to the pizza boxes. Maya, I told him to pick up 2 meat lover pizzas. So it was 2 boxes of pizza. One of the pizza boxes was empty, but it was more pizza in the second box. Nobody touched that one yet. Y'all, tell me why this man was trying to trick the baby. They act like there was no more pizza. He was showing the baby the empty pizza box. The first pizza box was empty. He was showing the baby that pizza box. and trying to pretend like there was not a second box full of pizza. I tell you, I snatched that dang pizza box so fast and I sat that baby on the floor and gave him the whole dang pizza box. Now you don't eat. You don't get nothing to eat. This is my money. I bought this pizza. You don't eat. For him to even do that to a child, to a baby, that man didn't care about nobody but himself. That man was selfish as fuck. For you to try to do that to a baby, you see this baby crying, and you gonna try to do that? That man had no sympathy or compassion for anyone. These are character traits that you need to be looking for in a man. See how he treats other people. See how he treats children. I feel like deep down, I always knew that I could not have a family with that man. I couldn't do that. Look how he treated me. He sent me to jail and giving bitches my money. And then the way he acted about a woman's car, the way his mom acted, the way he treated a child. I knew deep down I could not make a family with that man. I was still stuck though, because I wanted to believe. I wanted so badly to believe that there gotta be some good somewhere in this man. Y'all, during this whole situation, since me being arrested, everything about that man irked my nerves. Seeing him turn around a corner pissed me off. Any little thing he did made me angry. I remember a time when he drove my car and brought the car back with a flat tire. And I didn't want to say anything. I just wanted to sit back and watch and see what he would do. Y'all, I started to count the days of this man walking past my tire, a flat tire on my car. He walked past it for a whole week. I didn't say nothing. I just wanted to watch. What the heck he gonna do? He didn't do anything. He just walked past it.
What do you mean? Watched? Oh, listen, I get it. We testing him out to see if he's a real man. I don't think you need to do those tests no more. I think we already know he's not a real man. We knew he wasn't a real man when he was taking the money and giving it to the next chick. We already knew. You know what I'm gonna say I do like about what she said? I love her accountability. I'll give her that. That's why I haven't really been too judgmental in this story time. I kind of just been letting her ride and listening to the story more and hearing what she got to say. Because I understand we all make mistakes when we're young. I like that she said when she was talking about God and she was like, if I ask God if I do this for 30 days, will you bless it? You know, I love when people talk like that instead of saying like, oh, I prayed to God and God didn't answer. She asked God to bless her work. And we all know, if you really, all my Bible scholars, you already know if you put work behind your prayers, then God tends to definitely answer those prayers as long as it's within the, what you need in this world, what God has planned for you in this world. You may ask God for riches and say, if I work hard, and, maybe God don't answer in 30 days, might answer in the next 5 years, It may take some time, but at the end of the day, it's just, we can't be so quick to be like, oh, it's God's fault, I lost my. You never lost the relationship with God. God was still there the entire time. Sometimes our distractions in our life just makes it hard for us to hear God. God never left your corner. God never left anybody's corner. Even if you're an atheist, even if you're a murderer, God didn't leave your corner. You left God. And as soon as you come back, God will be right there waiting for you, like a father when you see your child after, ghosting you for a while, and you just happy to see your child alive. And, you tend to forget the anger you had, towards somebody. I look at it like that. So, don't be so quick to, blame God or feel like God wasn't listening to you. God was clearly listening to you. That's how you are able to tell this story today. So just wanted to say that.
These narcissists will definitely make you feel like in your head that you are unworthy of any blessings, anything good. Just so when they treat you so shitty, you feel like I deserve this because of what I did, or I'm just not a good person. So they make you feel like you deserve to be with them because they are terrible. Right. They will literally, because if you know how loving and how great you are, you're like, I deserve way better than this. I need to move on. I need to depart from this person. But if you're in your head like, no, I deserve to hear all these bad things about me because you know what? I am a bad person. Everything he is saying is right. It's the mind games they play with you so that you'll stay with them longer, so that you just give everything to them. And the best thing you can do is just disconnect. I'm surprised he even wiggled his way back in, and he probably played like he ain't had nowhere else to stay, but he knew that you were such a giving person and had such a big heart that was going to open that door for him to be back in your life.
Yeah. The person you wish should, I'm going to say this and then we're going to wrap it up. But the person you wish should definitely speak life into you. They should be speaking life into your dreams, into what just into your life in general. If they're talking down on you, that's just them, reflecting or projecting what they are going through in their life. It's almost like saying, well, if God don't love me, then he ain't gonna love you either. You need me. You need me. You need me. A person who speak life into you, they know. I don't tell Sahana that she needs me. I always say, like, I tell everybody this. Like, listen, it's no secret to how I became successful in my life. I found God and I started taking him seriously and I started to get my life together. It's just simple. I'm not going to cry about not having parents, mothers, and all these other things that most people have. I'm just going to start changing my life and thank God for the fact that I'm able to breathe another day, have children, have someone who loves me, live a successful life. I would say, I think I'm a rich man in heart. I don't have to be successful like everybody else to me. And I feel like once men get comfortable in that type of state of mind, they become better partners for their women. But then it's like, you find a woman who's equally yoked to that, who also wants, God in their life and wants to grow, and they speak life into your life as well. Those are the type of people you want to be around in general. So just watch out for how somebody speaks, because I know they like sticks and stones may hurt my, but words will never hurt me. I know that little weird saying that people were saying. I don't know where they found that saying, but we just started saying that. But words are very powerful. Watch how you speak, because if somebody's speaking to you a certain way and you are trusting this person, like a mother or father or a boyfriend, and they're telling you bad things, like she
They're
said, you
cursing you.
you tend to like, yeah, I mean, this person sees me every day and he told me I ain't shit. At first you were like, fuck you, but then eventually over time you're like, well, damn, am I not shit? Because now my relationship with my mom is probably rocky. My relationship with everybody, it's just over time they start to feel like you start to think that they're right. That's why you got to stop being around people who speak like that. You got to be around people who speak life. But do with that information as you will.
Didn't do nothing. I felt like I was turning into the man in the relationship. I'm paying these bills. I'm making sure you eat. And I gotta get out here and change a tire. That shit was fucked up. I'm not no fucking man, I'm a woman. But I had to turn into a man in that relationship. I didn't say anything. I just stopped talking. There was no point in me talking and trying to express how I feel. He couldn't understand me. Just think about how his mother raised him. What Kim Michelle said in that song, you cannot raise a man. Don't be doing it. Don't think you can raise a man. Don't think you can change a man. That man is that man. It starts with his mom. His mom raised him. And if she would have raised him better, then we wouldn't have had all these problems. But she raised him fucked up. He didn't know how to treat a woman. He thought he was the fucking woman. Y'all remember just being in my head all the time. I had nobody to talk to. My sister is gone. My best friend is gone. Nobody is there. Nobody can hear me. Then came the medicating me. He wanted to keep me so high. He did not like me sober. He did not like sober Maya. He did not like the Maya that speaks up and says her opinion. He liked it the high Maya. The one who's just numb to everything, who can't fucking talk. He loved it, that version. I remember mornings, like I would be asleep. I'll be asleep, and this man is trying to force blunts in my mouth as I'm sleeping, just to keep me knocked out. He was doing this, so I would be so fucked up, and my brain so fucking foggy, and I'm knocked out, so I wouldn't see him leave the house. Later on, I found out why. If y'all would like more of this story, then comment part 10 in the comments, follow, like, do all of that good stuff, repost. Because, yeah, this is when y'all girl is on the way out. So, y'all, after he started sedating me with marijuana, I just remember waking up, like, after I wake up out of the sedation, I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I would walk so fast past mirrors in my home because I didn't know who was the person looking back at me. Maya was gone. There was nobody. I was like a Jane Doe. I pray that y'all never know how it feels to wake up and wishing that you don't. I felt that. I felt like I was so far off the edge of that cliff that I was gonna fall. I remember one night I couldn't sleep and I just was so fucked up and low self-esteem, and I was nothing. And I pick up my own gun. I pick up my own gun and put it to my head. And I wanted so badly to pull the trigger. I felt like every bit of nothing. I felt like I had no purpose. I had no voice. I felt like I was screaming. I was screaming so loud within myself, but nobody could hear me. I couldn't even hear me. So I remember one morning I just got up and he had already left the house, and I just got in my car. I got up and I just got in my car and I drove myself to a mental hospital because I thought I was crazy. I thought I was crazy. And I wanted so badly to like get somebody to help me, get somebody to see me. So I walked inside that mental hospital and I started screaming. I started screaming in their lobby, begging somebody to fix me, somebody help me. So during this whole time, my mom was away. She was working on the road. So she lived in Boston, but she came home just to visit for a while and she wanted to see me. So she told me to come home. So when I came home, y'all, I'm not kidding. I think I was probably like 115 pounds. I looked anorexic. Like you could tell something was wrong with me. And I came into the house and my clothes were falling off of me. They wouldn't fit. The pants, I had to tie them so tight because I couldn't even fit my clothes anymore. And my grandma was sitting at the table. My sister was here. Jai was here. And they just looking at me and they could tell something wrong. And my grandma said that you don't got no money for no food. You look anorexic. She was trying to give me money for food. But y'all, I had money. I did. I just was going through so much shit that I couldn't eat. I never told them about the degrading. I never got into that with them. So they didn't know. Nobody knew how badly fucked up I was inside my head. But once I left to go back home, they had an idea from seeing me that time. So I just remember Jai started calling me more often. I remember him, like times of me and him being on the phone, and he'd just be talking about his goals and stuff and what he want to do in life. And he would be like, Maya, I want to be just like you. Y'all, at this time, I was so brainwashed and fucked up inside. I would ask my own self, like I'm thinking in my head as I'm listening to him say this, why would he want to be like me? I'm naive. I'm dumb. I'm everything this man said I was. I'm nothing without him. I believed these things. So when Jai said that to me, I'm asking myself, like, why you want to be like me? I don't even want to be like me. I'm just thinking, like, what's so special about me? What can you see that I don't see? So I'm still on the phone with Jai, and I asked him, what do you mean? And his response was, Maya, you know how many people haven't done what you did? And I'm still so confused. And his response was, Maya, you are 22 years old. You done graduated high school early. You went on to teach your own self how to do nails. You went on to graduate college early. And then you went on to graduate nail school. You are special. He would say, Maya, you are in a lane of your own. You are different. You are special. While Jai telling me this, he just don't even know how badly I needed to hear that. I had forgotten who Maya was. I didn't know nothing about myself. I was a Jane Doe. This man had done brainwashed me into believing I was nothing. I was nothing without him. I truly believed that. But the truth was the whole time that I was nothing with him. That's why I don't play about Jai. I don't play when it comes to Jai. Because even though he didn't know the extent of what I was going through, I didn't say nothing to nobody. He didn't know. He somehow still knew that I needed to hear these things. And then Jai went on to say, Maya, if you need me to call you every single day to remind you of who you are, I will do that. He just didn't know. He didn't know those simple words was helping to bring me back. He was helping me to come back. If y'all have a friend out there and they're not acting like themselves, you know your friend. And they're not acting like themselves. The best advice that I can give is don't push them away. No matter how bad they're pulling away, don't be getting angry with them because you never know. You never know what people are going through behind closed doors. Try to uplift them, grab them, hold them, remind them of who they are. Because eventually they will start to remember. Go at their pace. Don't give up on them. The only way I can describe that moment was, y'all, I felt like I was sinking. I was underwater and I was just screaming so loud with one hand still above the surface. And I'm just screaming so loud for somebody help me. Somebody see me. I was screaming inside and I felt like I was sinking. I had so much stuff buried inside of me and it was weighing me down. And I was going deeper and deeper and deeper underwater. But I felt like Jai grabbed onto my hand. He grabbed onto my hand. And as slow as it was, he did not let me go. He did not. He just kept pulling me, farther and farther up, trying to get me out of that fucking water. He slowly started pulling me back to the surface. So one day, not too long after that conversation with Jai.
Yeah, we all need somebody like that in our corner to remind us who we are. Because when you're going through a deep depression or something very traumatizing, you start to forget all of that stuff. And sometimes you just have to like have tunnel vision on what's ahead of you. But it's so hard. And the people around you will start to peep, that you're going through something, whether it is changing your weight, changing your appearance. They could see that what's going through you is weighing you down, and that, yeah, you need that conversation. You'd be surprised. That's what they say when you like run into strangers. Be careful with what you say to them because you just never know what's going on behind closed doors. Either you could speak that life into them that they've been needing to hear, or that rude comment that you made or that you disregarded them, that could have been their like final straw.
They 13th
So
reason.
yeah, you just never know. But sometimes those words, when you speak life to somebody, that's exactly what they needed to hear.
This is, I mean, the guy she was talking about now, what's his name, John or something like that. That's the type of people you need to like surround yourself by. You got to surround yourself around people who speak life into you.
And the reason why I think she was in such a deep depression is, like she said, her sister was gone, her best friend was gone, and now she's only surrounded by this manipulative man that can now only tell her bad things about herself. All these people that was speaking life into her, telling her that she deserved better, that she's this great person, they're gone. And so all the things she hear is him.
Yeah, he can't let you get too ahead of yourself. He don't want you to get too ahead of yourself because then you start feeling better and doing better, and then you'll leave him. A lot of these people do this. I mean, a lot of toxic people do this so that way they can control you. It's just a control mechanism. As long as you're close with God, you shouldn't be listening to nobody should be able to tell you anything. Even if you're not close to God, you still should have a mentality of, somebody. How can you tell me who I am when you just met me? Even if it was only for a year, 2 years, you ain't known me my whole life. I spent 19 years before I even known you. So it's like, how can you let somebody sit there and tell you who you are to your face? You know what I'm saying? So
I was sedated on the couch, extremely, extremely high and fucked up out of my mind. And I think it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I just hear this banging at the door. But my mind is so foggy and fucked up. So I unlocked the door and I opened it. And this man literally tried to sneak and squeeze past me because he knew I was fucked up in the head. He knew my mind was sedated. So he tried to sneak into the house and just try to pretend like Ben was in the house. He didn't come in at 2 o'clock. Oh, he's like, oh, she ain't gonna know. She's so fucked up in the head. And he just sneaked past me and went into the room. I couldn't sleep next to that man. I was laying on my own couch in my own house that I pay bills at. Y'all, so I got back on the couch and I fell back asleep. But I was dreaming. And I don't know if this was God or not, but I was dreaming. And I'm not lying. I just kept saying 05, in my head. I kept seeing those numbers. And now I'm thinking about everything with 05. I'm thinking about birthdays. My birthday is May, so I'm 05. His mom's birthday is in May as well. So her birthday is 05. So I don't know what, but I just snapped up. I woke up fast. And I just went to his mom's Facebook and I saw her birthday actual date. And I said, let me just look in that phone one more time. And let me use his mom's birthday as a password. Yeah, I really feel like that was God. That was God telling me his password in my head. So I grabbed the phone and I used his mom's birthday and the phone unlocked. Y'all, so when I got in the phone, the first thing I saw was this girl. She was blowing him up, texting him back to back, back to back. She's trying to run him down and he's not responding. I'm reading the messages and the girl is trying to get money out of him for abortion. She was pregnant and she was trying to get money out of him for an abortion and he was dodging her. Wasn't trying to give her the money for the abortion. I don't even think that was it for me though. Like it was just so much and I just was tired. I was so tired. So I told him he had to leave. And as he was walking out, I was looking at the window. I was watching him leave. And I wanted so badly to scream, come back, because I was so conditioned and brainwashed to the cycle that I honestly felt that I could be nothing without this man. But something inside of me took my voice. I couldn't talk. All I could do was watch him leave. I watched him leave and I could not speak. I laid back on the couch and I didn't text him. I didn't do none of that. I just laid on that couch and I cried myself to sleep. I would wake back up and cry myself to sleep again. Wake back up and cry myself to sleep again. I stayed on that couch for days in the sickness. I had to sit in it. I had to live in it. I had to feel it. I know it was close to a week where I didn't eat anything and I just stayed on that couch. After this, I never allowed him back in my home again. I just wanted to stay on that couch and just live in the pain. Just get it all out, cry it all out, cry till I can't cry no more. Shortly after this came the harassment. I started being harassed by this young woman, and we are not going to disrespect her, y'all, because we are going to pay our respects to the dead. The young lady is now deceased, so we're not going to blame her for anything. But back then, I hated her. Now that I'm healing, and now I can understand her. But back then, I hated her because also I was dealing with this young woman making fake phone numbers, making fake Facebooks to harass me. I had no idea who this girl was, y'all. Nothing. I didn't know nothing of her. I didn't even know how she looked, what her name was, nothing. But she knew everything about me. She knew where I lived. She knew where I worked. She knew every aspect of my life. She was watching me. She had my Facebook. She had my social media accounts. She was watching me and I couldn't see her. Do you know how they have to feel to be that so paranoid from being harassed by somebody? And you have no idea who they are. You don't know what their name is. You don't know what they look like. I remember coming outside one day in my whole car. I don't know what the heck it was in my car, but somebody threw all kind of shit on my car. It looked disgusting. I didn't know what it was. To this day, I don't know what that was. But I remember this girl calling me. She would call me at 3 o'clock in the morning. This girl had my phone number and all. Called me at 3 o'clock in the morning. trying to get her nails done, trying to book an appointment for nails at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I answered the phone. I cursed her out. I cursed her out because I feel like that's disrespectful. Like, are you crazy? Who calls somebody 3 o'clock in the morning to book an appointment for anything? You don't call me no 3 o'clock in the morning, waking me up out of my sleep to book a nail appointment. That was weird to me. I didn't understand. I was confused. I was never able to put a face or a name to this young woman until after her death. But I do remember her calling me. She called me, and at this point, I just know this is the young woman that he had been cheating on me with, another one of the women he was cheating on me with. And she ended up calling me. And y'all, tell me why this woman described my house to me. Told me that she was in my house. They done had sex in my house, in my bed. Y'all, there was nothing else that man could do to hurt me. But after finding out this, I didn't want to be in that home. It wasn't a home. I paid all these bills. I became a man in this bitch. And then to know that the bed that I paid for, you got a bitch laying up in my house, having sex and laying up in this house, like it's your shit. It didn't hurt me, but I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to live in that.
One day, the young lady called my phone again, and she told me to mute myself. So I mute the phone, y'all. I could hear his voice, and I can hear his mom's voice, and I can hear the young lady's voice.
We just gonna call the young lady Tara. So from the phone call, I can hear his mom, Tara, and him. And him and his mom were trying to convince Tara that I was delusional, I was slow, I was obsessed with him, I was an attention seeker, I was a crybaby, he paid all my bills, I was just like this broke bum that worshiped him. Like, they were trying to feed all of that into her brain. Tara was only 19 at the time. So we are not going to disrespect Tara. We are not going to be mean to her, even though she did some fucked up shit to me. She is dead now. So we are going to pay our respects to the dead.
Yeah, the bills come out first. You pay 8 cents. And since he tried to move, he tried to make money moves without her. She can't take it. She want to be the center of attention. She's a attention seeker. Just go on the page. We got to take no more. She's a attention seeker. Not learn. You get older, you say you won't be 21. 22. 22. Take it from an older woman, because I was married when I was your age. You can't let these outside people affect your inside. What are they bringing to the table? What is he bringing to the table? Okay, there you win. If they're not going to bring what he's going to not, if they're not going to put what he's putting on the table, ignore it. Ignore it. And get your stuff in order. Y'all got to block those 2 people. I don't have a number. She don't have my direct number. She have your friend had your number. And hell, what the hell? Take a friend to sit on goddamn business. Take my friend. I don't care who take. You cut that shit out. Yeah, you're right. That's crazy ass nigga shit. I'm just saying who the.
So I'm just listening to the conversation, and I can hear his mama popping her shit about me. But at this point, my blood is boiling. Like, I want that with his mom. I want that with her. Because I felt like I've been owed her one. And I never felt that way about nobody's mom before. I never wanted to just go and do with somebody's mom before. But her, I felt like I owed her one.
Why do I feel like she's just taking this out on everybody but him? Like, all you gotta do is leave him. You know that, right? You can put all this shit. Like, me personally, I like to cut off. I like to release. I like to release people from my life. We don't have to be in contract no more. Because what are you talking about? We about to beef with everybody around the person that you have a problem with. That's why he said you were green. You are green. I hate to tell you, you were green as fuck. Because you allowing it. And then I know you say I'm young, but shit, how many years did this go on? This sounds like a damn marathon. This sounds like this been going on for years. And it's like you ready to fight everybody but the manipulator himself. Mom is being manipulated. Girls are being manipulated. Everybody's being manipulated by this man, no matter if they know you or not. That's the psychology behind it. You don't know how they know you. You know what I'm saying? How did he introduce you to these people? Like, you've been introduced to him through lies. He was driving his baby mama's, or whoever the hell that girl was, she was driving the sugar mama's car. And you thought it was his. So what? She didn't even know you existed. So you came into the game with off another woman's situation, and you didn't even take that serious. And now you're the woman who's getting cheated on. Like, come on now. This is the advice your mom was trying to give you. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the advice that you probably got men in your circle who you say you got a guy who speaking like he probably was trying to tell you this. But if you're not willing to listen, you can lead them. You can lead them to the water. You can't force them to drink. You can't force them to eat. You can put the food on the table, but Like we drew the map for you. You ain't gonna follow the directions. What the hell was the point? You know, it's like you kind of. It's not. It's just getting to that point where it's just like, okay, I done heard enough now. We about to fight mom. We about to fight the girls. We about to do all this other shit, but we still with the man who ruined your life and changed everything and made you feel less than. It's like, okay, we on part 20 now or some shit like that. We're almost 2 hours. We're over 2 hours in here, and it's like, well, damn, what else can we hear? I'm ready to end it at this point and just say, at the end of the day, happy. It was a happy ever after. I guess I don't.
Yeah,
This is only getting worse.
This is why you gotta get with somebody that just believes in God, because God is gonna hold him accountable. If his own mother is egging on the BS, it's just time to walk away, because they're feeding into another young woman that's gonna be in the same situation as you. You met him young. They mold you into wanting to be with them. That they bringing something to the table that they're really not, and now this other young woman that she's speaking of now is gonna go through the same cycle with him. So you just gotta peep the patterns in the beginning. So yeah, when you met him, he was mooching off one woman, telling her that this was his stuff. Now he's mooching off you. Got another woman in your home saying that this is his shit.
Right.
It's literally just a cycle that's going to keep repeating. And sadly to say, it's a lot of older men that are still repeating that cycle.
Like, how do you know that the women knew all this stuff about you? Like, how you know she know where you worked and all these things? It's like, you got to be confronting the women a lot. You must not be confronting your man, because it's like, this is green. This is very green. So if you don't know what green is, this is what it looks like to be very green. Gullible, easy to get over on, easy to manipulate and lie to. Like, that's what green is. No offense to her, but everything she's saying, I understand she was young, but we all been 20. That ain't get it. I guess she met him when he was 19, but I don't know how old she was when she started messing with him. She just kept saying a few years later. He kept asking me, and a few years later, he kept asking me. So that sounds like 3 years. Like, how many years is this? Like, is it? But anyways, I'm just getting overwhelmed. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of information. Shit, it's a lot to take in all at once.
Point, my blood is boiling. I'm angry. I don't listen to the whole conversation. I'm pissed off. So I texted his mom and I checked her. She didn't respond though, because she didn't want that. She liked to pop her gums behind the scene, but she didn't respond. Because yeah, we can get out there. I'm grown. You're not gonna disrespect me. Y'all, my blood was boiling so bad, I jumped in my car. I'm about to pull up to her door. But then I had to it was raining. It was raining so bad outside. And I just ended up pulling up on the side of the road. I pulled on the side of the road and just try to calm my nerves, try to calm myself down, because I already know that there's some police people. No matter how tough they act, they love to call the police. So I just pulled on the side of the road and it's raining, pouring down raining. And I just try to calm myself. It's not the whole time that I'm sitting on the side of the road, y'all. I still got the phone on mute. So I'm still hearing everything. So I finally said to myself, these people ain't worth it. They're not worth it, Maya. So I turned that car around and I went back home. So I did decide that I had to confront him, y'all. My blood was boiling. I was so angry. I wanted everybody's head. I'm telling you, I wanted that with everybody. So I called him and I'm just letting him know why I lie. Like, why get you and your mama, why would y'all get together and start lying on me, on my character? His biggest thing was his character. He never wanted me to do anything like this. He didn't want me to tell other women how he really is behind closed doors. His biggest thing was to protect his image. I live my real life on social media. Like, this is what it is. Like, I got all of these things. I don't have to punk fake like other people. So I got on the phone with him and I let him know, you need to tell that young lady the truth. Tell her the truth. Tell her you ain't got to pot the piss in and a window to throw it out. Or I'm going to get on social media and I'm going to expose you. He didn't want me to expose him.
So I don't even know why I want to hear from you or hear anything that you say. I don't know why. So I may be delusional. I think I may be there. I may have gotten there. I loved you. I loved you so much. I really did. I thought you loved me too.
I did everything you want me to do, so it shouldn't be no problem. You shouldn't be contacting her. She shouldn't be contacting you no more.
That's not what I'm talking about right now.
No, I'm just saying in general.
I'm not contacting her. I'm talking to you right now about how I feel. And you're just, that's what I mean. What's the point of me telling you how I feel at all? You don't care. You don't.
I do care. I do care how you feel. Why you think I did it?
You don't care. The only reason why you did that is because you don't want other people to know what kind of person you really are. It's such a bad person. Such a bad person. And you don't even have to be that way.
And I'm not going to be that way. That's what I'm telling you, just chill out. Okay, end of the day, regardless if I ain't with you or not, I'm still going to.
Regardless if you're not around, you let people know what it is about me. You don't do that. You talk down about me so bad to her. Like, and this is the second time you done did this. Like,
no, that's fucked up.
Talk about, oh, I can't pay my bills, that I need you. Like, you know that's not the case.
No, it ain't. That's why I told her I lie about it.
He did end up calling her back and telling her that he was lying, but he didn't sound genuine.
What's the matter? I lied about every single thing I said about her. What's everything? Everything. So, yeah, that's all I want to come. What you call me to tell you lie about that? What? Okay.
So I'm pretty sure she didn't believe him. She probably still was going off of what his mom said. Because you got to understand, being a 19-year-old girl that she was easily manipulated, easily groomed. And an older woman is trying to tell you all this about her son and trying to stroke his ego in front of you. 9 times out of 10, you're going to believe her. You're going to think that she don't got no reason to lie. She got no reason to lie. Like, that's what you would think. So I understand why she didn't believe me and she believed in them over me. I tried to save Tara. I tried to tell Tara the real about this man, but Tara believed it them some. She took in what they said about me. She thought I was crazy. She thought I was delusional. She thought I was obsessed with him. So after all of this phone call stuff happened, I did tell him that I wanted to meet him in person for the last time. This was the last time I ever saw that man in person. Like, why? Why me? The last 2 years of us being together was all a lie. Why? Can you at least give me some clarity? Can you at least give me some truth? Because the last 2 years of my life was a lie to me. I didn't know nothing. I didn't know what was true. I didn't know nothing. I was always left in a state of confusion for 2 years of my life. And I wanted to know why. The only reason why he agreed for us to meet up was because he didn't want me to expose him. I remember the last thing I said to him before getting out that car. I told him, one day, God is going to sit you down in jail. And even your mom is not going to be able to save you because of karma. I said, you're going to get your karma for how you did me. You cannot do good people like that. His response was, no, you're going to get the karma, wishing karma on me. And it wasn't like I was really wishing karma on him, but I honestly don't know why. But it was just in my heart to say that to him. After that night, y'all, I never saw him again in person. Shortly after this, I stopped communication with all of them. I didn't communicate with any of them anymore. That was done with. I was just trying to move on with my life. My mom knew something was wrong too. And that is why she got me Lola as a present. She knew that I was dealing with so much and she felt that Lola would help me. And she was right. When I got Lola, I started to pour my love into her. I stopped giving my love to people. I gave it to her because I knew that I never had to question her loyalty. I never had to question her love for me. She loves me. She's loyal to me. And I never had to question that about her. And people just be thinking like, oh, I'm so bougie. I always got to have my dog with me in public. No, y'all just don't understand. My anxiety is so freaking bad. I need her with me. Sometimes just having her with me in public and holding her and rubbing her fur, it calms me. It makes me okay with being in public. So it's not even about all that extra stuff. She helps me. And I was at work. I was doing nails. And I just got this text from the fake account. Mind y'all, Tara was 19 years old. So she was immature. She did a lot of immature stuff. So she made a fake Facebook. But she tried to portray that the person behind the fake Facebook was her best friend. But really, the whole time it was Tara. And I knew that. I'm well aware. Tara texted me from the fake page. And she texted me pretending to be her best friend. And she just wanted to know like if I was over him or if I had anything still going on with him. I'm still feeding into her bullshit. And I'm just talking to her like she's the best friend. And I told her, tell your best friend, the best advice I can give her is to run. There's nothing good gonna come from that man. Run. She took what I said, but I don't think she believed me. A week after this, my friends pushed me to go to Jamaica with them. They wanted me to get out of town. Like they didn't know everything that was going on, but they just knew that something wasn't right with me. And they wanted me to get out of that house, get out of Colombia. So they invited me to Jamaica. So this was a week later after the last conversation I had with Tara through the fake page. And I'm just packing my things to go to Jamaica. So as I'm packing, I get a phone call from an unknown number. I don't know who this is. And she says, did you hear about so-and-so being in a car accident? I said, I don't know nothing about that man. I'm not with that man no more. So I wouldn't know. And I hung up that phone. And I finished packing and I headed to Jamaica. Y'all, being in Jamaica felt so good just to be away from all that negative energy, just to breathe the air, just to live a little. Nobody knew what the hell I was going through. I had a great time just to be away. While I was there, I saw a Facebook article run across my screen. And it was an article about a car accident. about him and Tara in a car accident. I read the article, and I eventually I could conclude from reading that article that he took Tara on that same road that he took me to get drugs. Y'all, after I kicked him out, he didn't have nowhere to go. He didn't have nothing. So he was trying to work harder to run up some money. I honestly feel like he was moving too fast, trying to show me up. So what I can conclude from that article is he went on a high-speed chase after the police got behind the car and they saw that the tags were bad, the registration, all that stuff was bad on the car. So they were trying to pull the car over. He ended up taking the police on a high-speed chase. This ended up causing the car to flip multiple times, and Tara flew out the window. Y'all, this man jumped out of the window that Tara flew out of and started running with the bag of drugs. He did not want to check on her. He did not want to see if she was still alive. He was that selfish. Because in that moment, you know that she wasn't in the car anymore. You could see that she wasn't there anymore. And you jumped over that seat out the window that she flew out of. He never cared about Tara. I tried to tell Tara that. That man don't care about nobody but himself. Tara couldn't hear me. Tara didn't believe me. Y'all, Tara died. Tara lost her life that day. And he ended up being arrested. He was arrested on drug charges, the car charges, and vehicular homicide of Tara. He ended up being sentenced to 41 years straight time. I found out all of this stuff while I was in Jamaica. So after finding the Facebook article, I went to the bathroom and I called that number back that called me while I was packing. I then found out that that was Tara's sister. I don't know how Tara's sister had my number. I don't, but she had it. And I called her and I felt bad. And I told her that I'm sorry for her loss. I'm so sorry for her loss. And I also told her that I did everything I could to get Tara away from that man. I don't know why God spared my life and not Tara's. I think about Tara all the time. Tara had 2 children, 2 kids, a boy and a girl that has to grow up without a mother. All because that man and his mother got in her head and manipulated her. Y'all just think about how brainwashed I was. I was older than Tara. Just think about how brainwashed I was. And to put that on a 19-year-old girl. She believed them. She thought I was crazy. I don't know why God spared me and not her. I was with him longer. I ain't never got back in the car with no drugs, though. I wasn't doing that. But just thinking about how he did that, how he manipulated a young girl's mind, how he took her away from her 2 children and didn't even have the decency to check and see if that girl was still breathing after she flew out of a window of a car. That man didn't care about nobody but himself. What if that would have been me? Would he have jumped over my body too? Would he have jumped out the window that I just flew out of too and start running, not come check on me, not see if I was still even breathing? I think about that. And I honestly believe that if it would have been me, he would have done the exact same thing. My advice to women, don't just be so fast to jump on a hate train of a woman. Don't just be so fast to jump and believe everything these men say. And also, you cannot look at what another woman has and try to manifest it or think you want that from that man. Because sometimes you just don't even know what that woman had just given up. Tara was well aware that he sold drugs and that was what they were going to get that day. And she made that decision to get in that car with him because she was very much being manipulated by him, thinking he was something that he wasn't, thinking that he was every bit of what he tried to portray. She believed him the same way that I believed him in the beginning. Y'all, when I told him the last time we saw each other in person that would happen, that he would end up in jail and his mom wouldn't be able to save him, I told him that in January. Tara died in April. So believe me when I tell you that karma is real and it comes back fast, quicker than you think. Yeah, I honestly have no idea why God spared my life and not Tara's. I spent 2 years in hell, a prisoner in my own mind, contemplated committing suicide, feeling that low about myself. Tara only knew that man for a few months. And just like that, she was gone. I don't know why God spared me. Why me? Maybe it was for this exact moment right here, for me to be doing this right here. If I would have pulled that trigger, I wouldn't be here sitting in front of y'all right now. If I would have continued to get in cars with him and ride up to Atlanta, I wouldn't be here sitting with y'all right now. Maybe this is what he wanted me to do. Put me through all of that just to make me wiser. So I can speak to y'all young women. So I can speak to y'all and give y'all advice and tell y'all what to look for. Maybe this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Wow, that was truly, truly sad to hear that happened to that young girl. But that's exactly why when you're dealing with somebody that does things illegally with drugs or anything in that way, that this stuff comes with it. They're gonna hide from the police. Tragic things can happen. If you're not involved in that life already, I wouldn't even try to go for it. When you're dating and you're young, you probably think that's fun and all, but it gets serious really quickly, whether it ends up in violence or being arrested. So just know, I know it seems fun and all, like, oh, he does this, the guy I'm dating does this, but it is not fun and games when it really comes down to shit getting serious.
What do you all think about the story time? I know this was a very, very, very long story time. I know we throw these out there probably once a month. We'll throw out a 2-hour video like this because it's a lot though. But it was a pretty good story time. At the end of the day, I love doing long story times. We love doing story times that have a message behind it. So we do, thank this storyteller for actually telling this story and actually bringing awareness to this situation. As many of you have, a lot of story times on these type of topics. Hopefully one day it starts to teach you guys, or ladies, sorry to say guys in general, but teach you all how to, just identify a narcissist person, triangulation, people using other people to, leverage against y'all conflicts in y'all relationship so that way they can keep control over you for a long time. Just stuff like that. All those things, it's more than just entertainment, on this channel. It's more like you can learn a lot to the point that when you start to see it in your own life, you're like, oh yeah, this might be one of them people, So that's the whole point and the mission behind this story. I mean, behind stories like this, So at the end of the day, if you are interested in following this creator, because I heard that she's doing more story times now, or if you want to get your nails done or whatever the case may be, you already know what to do. Check out the description box below so you guys can follow her directly on her TikTok account where we discovered this story time. To the storyteller, thank you, and may God continue to bless you in your endeavors. And prayers goes out to the terror chick, because at the end of the day, somebody was lost, a life was lost. And, that's very, I just pray for her children and her mother and father, whoever is affected by that death, and may no one else have to go through stuff like this. I know they will, but may more people see these type of story times and start to become more aware of the type of men and the type of women that you're surrounding yourself by. But that's all we got, Messy Family. I want to make this longer than it has to be, than it already is. But that's all. We'll see you all in the next story time. Peace.